And we are live here for Real News. Man, we just had we had a turning point, I believe, last night with the news of Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing away at 87. Last night, I just got home from work. I just got home from work, went on a walk, and I saw a notification where somebody in my group chat said in all caps, Ruth Bader Ginsburg has died. And I've heard that. How many times have we heard, like, she's gone to cancer treatment, this and that? And this time it felt real, and I looked at it, and oh my God. I don't know about you guys, but I had a wave of emotions because after Kavanaugh, we know what's coming.
Yep. Times 10.
It puts the stakes on the fucking election. You know, everything's in the fucking pot, man.
I know. That's why I immediately thought it was like, shit just got real.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like, even if, you know, let's say, you know, Trump wins, it's gonna be a fucking, like, unless he can pack, you know, unless he gets a whole, like, the whole fucking, what was that, the Senate, that's gonna be real tough. It's gonna be a real drawn out fight. You saw what they did with Kavanaugh. They are gonna go, like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, there's some sort of, like, blatantly illegal stuff, like threatening, you know, or like violence against senators, because I've seen like leftists go really apeshit over this.
Oh, I'm expecting illegal shit. Like, I'm expecting dirty, illegal shit to go down, like, during this election. I wouldn't be surprised if we even saw like intimidation at the voting stations and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Would not surprise me. I think some of these, there's going to be some dirty shit going on with the blue states, right? Some of the blue states that have the blue governors and the governments and all that. Like, I think, like, you're seeing Pennsylvania and Michigan adopting something where they're going to be counting ballots 2 weeks after the election, up to 2 weeks after the election. There's some room for some dirty shit there too.
And see, the thing too was, I want to make note of the PA mail-in voting ballot system before this recent change was actually extremely good. I mean, extremely good. It was literally just like an absentee, but you didn't have to give a reason as to why you couldn't vote in person. It was literally the same thing. You had to fill out an application, they send you a ballot, you send it back. It's very, very secure. That scares me, that they're already changing the rules. Because I was looking at this like, dude, we're going to be fine. All the swing states are pretty well and safe and secure. This is looking good. The fact they can change the rules this close to the election is insane and scary. Yeah, they extend to 3 days after the election. Which, as long as you have that application, that's the critical thing. If they remove the need to apply for one, that's insane. Like, that will be the breaking point. But actually, I'm glad you brought up the election, because that brings up a very good point that Jack Posobiec brought up. I need to find the tweet, because he basically said, as the really the best reason to nominate somebody to the Supreme Court right now to fill the vacancy is because if we're going to have a very, very contested election, a close election with lots of brand new mail-in ballots that we've never seen before, don't you think we should have a full Supreme Court to give this a fair hearing? When we have like Bush v. Gore cases go to the Supreme Court, but now with Trump v. Biden.
So real quick, what would happen if there's a, you know, so right now there's 8 people on the court, right? So if it goes down to 4-4 and there's no tiebreakers, you know, how would that work? Like, let's say we did have something like that happen, Bush v. Gore, who would break the tie?
I am not sure how that works, actually. I forget.
Would it go to like the House or something? Because that kind of scares me.
Or do they keep debating it till somebody changes their mind?
Oh, you know what's
Google
gonna
this.
happen if they try that? They're just gonna be like straight up intimidate, like someone's gonna be threatened or paid off, or one of them could end up passing away due to some shenanigans. Like, I don't trust it for a fucking second. If it were to go down to that, like, there's gonna be some like illegal actions going on.
I know this source is questionable, say the least, Slate, but they do have an article about what happens in Supreme Court tie. So if like a justice is sick and can't be there, or if there's an absence or vacancy, it says that when that happens, I think somebody subs.
Well, if it's a normal issue, like if it's a normal Supreme Court issue, then it goes back down to the courts. It goes back down to the lower courts. But in the election, I'm not sure. Like I guess it would go to the House, and then it would go to that down to like the delegates or whatever. Which, fuck.
You're right. It does go down to lower courts.
But but something like that, how, like, because isn't there certain things that the Supreme Court uniquely, has jurisdiction over?
I would think so.
I think that's like one of those things. It's like, it would be.
It says when a 4-4 deadlock decision does occur, the case is not deemed to have set any sort of precedent. Tradition holds that the court's per curiam opinion in such ties is usually very, very terse, often consisting of no more than a single sentence. The judgment is affirmed by an equal divided court, but it's safe to bet that the opinion in Kerry v. Bush or Bush v. Kerry would be a lot longer than usual. Yeah, they were talking about that like when Scalia went.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because when Scalia passed away, I saw people, fucking debate club, fucking like, a lot of like left wing, like radical, like not just radicals, like just regular left wing people. They were all like celebrating, and I haven't seen like when Ginsburg died, I didn't see people, at least not respectful people, celebrating it and stuff.
That
At least
respect shit is gone. That respect shit is gone.
Yeah,
just don't even.
Gone.
It's like, oh, I remember, like when are we gonna get back to those days? It's those days are gone. Those days are gone. That we're gonna have to fight. Like we're gonna have to touch gloves and we're gonna have to start swinging, because there's no. I mean, like this is the country. This is the country we're talking about here. I mean this election, we're looking at. They're gonna cheat. Just embrace. Just make sure, like even like when you vote, make sure you dot your I's and cross your T's. Make sure you have your paperwork. Make sure you have everything down and check and recheck, because there's gonna be some there's gonna be some dirty shit, and we're gonna need to make sure that we have all of our ducks in a row. I just like, man,
and here's the other thing too. If at all possible, I would definitely vote in person, unless you have, you're unable to visit a polling place due to, you're in the military or work or something. Like, if you can be there, do that. And if you already sent out your electorate, your ballot, I'd go, and if you had the option to go and cast a provisional ballot, I would definitely do that. Because here's what I'm kind of concerned about, and I heard, on the radio too, and they talked about this, that like people could go and like hijack your provisional ballot, make it look like you sent, and you think, oh, I already sent mine, and someone else does that, your vote, unless you do a provisional ballot, you're screwed. Or you have the like someone could do a provisional ballot in your name. So like, honestly,
they can't do that because you need to you need to bring your ballot with you, and I believe you'd have to show ID too. I don't know if you'd have to show ID when you get the provisional ballot, but you would have to take that ballot that was mailed to a person that applied, that would need an ID to apply, like a driver's license or social security number and take it in. Now, what you could do theoretically is, let's say you live with John and you have John request, you have a John in your household doesn't vote. Theoretically, like what I mean by doesn't vote is like he's registered but he just doesn't vote. You could request a mail-in ballot in his name and get it. You know, you have all his information, and then go with it to the polls and vote. You know, even through the mail, just as his name. I mean, that could happen, but that's like really, that'd be a weird situation.
Yeah, and I'd be concerned. And I'd also be concerned that your votes might be lost in the mail. Like you see that all the time with like random like parcels getting lost in the mail.
Well,
That's
you
what
can, at least in PA, you can track your ballot. So when I did mine for the primary, it will show up on there saying, "Oh, your ballot has been received at the County Board of Elections." Now, of course, you have to, you have to take it with at face value and believe it. But if you don't want to do that, what you can also do is just go to your County Board of Elections and drop off your ballot, which is what I did.
Yeah.
What I don't like is now in PA, I think they're now allowed to make these drop boxes where you can just drop your ballot off at these drop boxes. I don't know where they are, but like if you're going somewhere that isn't your County Board of Elections, I don't like that.
So what's stopping someone from like having a fake ballot drop-off box?
You could do that, and people have come into our office actually and like proposed making ballot drop boxes, and I tell them no, you can't do that. Somebody could do that, but they would, hopefully somebody would figure that shit out quickly and like stop it before anybody puts anything in it. I mean, you could do that, it's just like that's ballsy, and I don't think it would last long.
Let me see, you have some place people just do that. Like, let's say, the Democrats, they decide to go and rig the election. They go and have a ballot drop-off box that people go and put their ballots in there. Then they go and check to go and see who's Democrat registered and all this other stuff. Everyone else gets thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
What would stop that from happening?
I mean, like, well, that's what I'm worried about, is like ballots getting thrown out for, oh, can't read this one. Oh, they didn't spell the name right. Oh, bye-bye. I'm worried about that because that's an easier thing to get rid of. But there are going to be poll watchers, and the campaign on both sides, Trump and Biden campaign, is recruiting like mad for lawyers and poll watchers.
Yeah, I just see bad stuff. Like, that, and that's the thing too. It's like, at least in Florida, like people went to an actual like election booth and they used the machinery there. Over here, if you print out I don't know how familiar you are with that. Like, you just print out something and like sign it
with the machine.
Like if you're doing a ballot at home, you just print out your like the ballot or whatever.
You can't print out the ballot. There's no way to do that.
So you just sign something then, or you like circle a line.
You fill out a application, which you can print out at home. And you send that application in, and then the state sends you a ballot in the mail. And then you fill in that ballot, and you can either drop it off at County Board of Elections or mail it back to County Board of Elections. Now, you cannot make ballots. I mean,
now, do you fill out the ballot with like a pen and paper or pencil, or like what sort of implement do you use for that?
I use pen. I think that's what they require too.
Okay, so you use pen for that. Now, see, I'm concerned like, oh, the ink doesn't look right or this or that. Like, see, that's kind of, I could see them doing it that way, or like maybe even some really shady people giving out those pens with invisible ink and saying, oh, here you go. Here you can fill out that ballot over here. We'll make sure your vote's counted, and then boom, it has nothing on there.
I mean, that could happen.
Free pen to people who are filling out the votes.
Well, what they were having a problem with in the primary is the mail-in ballots were printed on a different type of paper than a traditional ballot, and so when they were scanning them, it wasn't reading them, and so they would have to put it through like a few times and would finally read it and count it, which is really makes me nervous, to say the least. But that has happened.
Well, that's going to take a lot more time to go and count those too, because
And it did.
it's not going to be as easily readable. Because they, if you do a regular ballot, there you can, in a regular, what you call voting machine, you could usually have it so that there's like fail safes in place. With this, either you can read it or you can't read it, and if they can't read it, then you're kind of screwed with that. Because once it's election day, they can't read it. Like, what are your options? The ship has passed.
Mm-hmm. So
then either your shit's going to get thrown out, or you have a constitutional crisis. And there's going to be tons of people who have their votes thrown out, and you won't even know if your vote was truly counted or not, unless you live in like a one population town.
Well, that's why I wish they could come up with a system that could almost track your ballot in terms of knowing that you voted in person and over mail. I don't know how you could do that securely. I wish that was always a thing where you would know your ballot was counted. I mean,
Yeah.
they give you that receipt. Actually, no, wait, don't they give you a receipt at when you vote in person and they put in the scanner? Aren't you given like a receipt actually?
Yeah, you're given a receipt.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Never mind.
But that doesn't mean that your vote was actually counted, I don't think.
I think
Like
thought it does.
That means that you submitted it, but let's say, there could have been error with the machine, something along those lines, sneaky behind the scenes happens, and boom. Maybe that machine was found to be tampered with, and they can throw out all the votes there.
And not to mention that there were Soros-funded
Yeah.
ballot machines.
Yeah, that's very fucking shady right there. No, I mean, to solve, like, in the future when they figure out how to, like, securely do electronic voting, I know that, like, I've heard people talk about, like, blockchain technology and using that, and it'd, like, print you out some sort of, like, hashed system so you can get, like, you get a number printout whenever you vote electronically, and then you could go and use that to, see if your vote was counted.
Mm-hmm.
But and the other thing I'm concerned with too is like what's stopping like pay for votes going on right now.
What do you mean?
Like, let's say you do a vote from home situation, and you go and you go and do your vote, and before you submit it, like some guy goes up there, like let's say on like Snapchat or something, says, hey, you vote for Joe Biden, I'll give you $5, and you send me a picture of your ballot with Joe Biden filled in.
I guess somebody could do that, but that's like, I don't know how many people would actually take that. Unless you did have poor people. You could do that with poor people.
Yeah. That's why I'm concerned. You say, hey, we'll give you money if you do this, and we'll send it through like Snapchat or something. It might be from someone who's not even in the country. It might be from like China.
Chinese collusion.
Yeah, no, I could actually see something like that going on.
That is interesting. But to touch on the thing I was mentioning earlier, this was Posobiec's tweet. He said, America needs a full Supreme Court so that the election outcome is not a 4-4 decision if it comes to a decision. For the good of the country, the president must make a nomination, the Senate must confirm. I think it's 100% right.
Yeah.
Amazing, like, arguably bipartisan point. And I think when I heard the announcement, like you said, Phil, like respect is gone. So when you're in like a wartime mindset, like we're in now, and like Owen Schroyer said that we need to be wartime conservatives. My wartime conservative mindset is not cheering her death. I wouldn't do that to anyone really, unless they're like Osama bin Laden or Hitler. I look at it as, okay, she died, that's sad. Now, what's next? What do we do with this situation? We need to fill the vacancy. We need to get somebody in the court, because what's the enemy gonna do? They're gonna try and delay it so they can put one of theirs in and put another far leftist justice in. So let's take advantage of this vacancy, put one of ours in, so the enemy doesn't put theirs in, or else we're screwed. So I think this is like, there's no question. You have to nominate somebody, and you have to do it soon. And I'm glad McConnell and Trump are doing just that. And I'm also glad that they're not just nominating anyone. They're nominating a woman. I think we talked about this like months ago. You have to nominate a woman now. They need to be Me Too proof. I don't know what they're going to throw at whoever gets nominated. I bet whoever gets nominated, I bet they're asking people they don't want it because they saw what happened to Kavanaugh. I mean, this is going to be, we're 44 days out from the election, okay?
I don't think they're going to fucking get in there right now.
I don't think so either. Like, past Supreme Court, the shortest one ever, I think, was like 50 or 60 days from a nomination announcement to nomination hearings to confirmation.
Hey, are you on the Twitter? Go look on my Twitter page.
Oh, let's go look at
really yeah, just so we got a small little sidebar.
I see Crowder's trending, by the way. We'll check that in a second.
Yeah, well, definitely.
Is this the video you want me to play?
Yep.
Oh, wait, is it the gun? No way.
Yeah.
Yo, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Where'd you post that on the Twitter feed?
I posted on my Twitter.
That's awesome.
Why don't you post a link in one of the chats?
Yeah, I will. Oh my God, I said thank you, Mr. Hammer.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Oh my God.
The other one's on his, so the Glock, he's got the Glock now. The Walther, I think I had to resend that one because there was some sort of like error. I guess they ran out or whatever the case is. But yeah, that one's on its way too. Yeah, but that was super cool. That was super cool.
That's amazing. Did she send you that video, or did she tweet it or something?
No, she sent that to me.
So that's what it looks like, yeah.
Yeah. So
I'm retweeting that. That's awesome. That's amazing. I'm glad you found that.
Yeah. Yeah. Keep kicking ass, Isaiah. Yeah. But anyway, with all this crappy week, you know, it's nice to have some sort of like feel good kind of thing going on this week, you know.
Yeah, let's be real. Every conservative was like, look, they weren't happy that she died. They were happy that there's a vacancy on the court that can be filled. I would have preferred Ginsburg retiring. I think that would make everybody happy. It's like, okay, she's not dying. Nobody's going to cheer about that. Okay. People are just happy now. There's a vacancy, and it's during the election. The stakes are high, and holy shit, dude. This is going to be the ugliest, nastiest 44 days in American history. And then when the nomination process starts after that, because that's realistically what's going to probably happen. I mean, they're going to try and, like, get somebody, you know, so that they can campaign on, okay, you need to vote for Trump to confirm this person to the Supreme Court. But the nomination process is going to be the dirtiest, nastiest, ugliest, most brutal, disgusting thing you've ever seen in American history. I mean,
it's going to be bad.
It's going to be unreal.
So bad.
You wonder how this is going to be worse than Kavanaugh?
I think
it's good times 100.
I do think it's going to be times 100. And I think it's not going to be the same. It's going to be weird because Kavanaugh is such a unique cultural
I do
moment.
think so. I will say I do think that there's not going to be as much I don't think there's going to be as much drama as we like with the Kavanaugh hearing. They had the whole, they had the whole, sex assault allegation from the 70s or whatever. And they had all these people. They had Christine Blasey Ford coming out of the woodwork and all that craziness. I don't think there's going to be any of that because I don't think that conservatives are going to give a shit. I think they're just going to be like, there's anything wrong? Oh, that's awesome. Let's go. Let's get to the fucking vote. And I think that's what's going to happen. But I think everything else surrounding that is going to be way worse, like way fucking worse.
Honestly, it's going to go on partisan lines. I don't think it's going to be like Kavanaugh. I think
Well, I mean, Kavanaugh's was on partisan lines too, but they had the whole, like, before the Kavanaugh thing, they had the whole Christine Blasey Ford thing with all the craziness or whatever. I don't think conservatives are going to give a shit this time around. They're not going. They're be like, no, we're not hearing anything. They're not going to buy it. They're not going to even entertain the idea. They're going to be like, okay, let's get this thing to a vote. They'll have some questions or whatever, but outside of that, we're like, look, we're gonna.
I'm gonna slightly disagree on that though. I know what you're saying, but to touch on the earlier thing, I think actually that was the best word you could put. It's not gonna have the drama as Kavanaugh per se in that way, because that was the sexual allegation stuff, and it was during the Me Too movement. Like I said, it was a very, very significant, unique cultural moment in time, and it was something special. I don't mean that in a positive way. I just mean it was a special thing.
Yeah.
Coronavirus, something special in a shitty way.
Yeah, exactly. I think with this, you're not going to see the sexual assault allegation slinging, but you're going to see something else. Something different that's 100 times uglier. Like, it could be, like you said, they start threatening people. Like, I think you're going to see death threats.
The riots, because there were a couple of protests.
Way more riots.
You're going to see protests, and you're going to see just very, very destructive riots. Like that will be time. That will be the times 100 part. Like that. So yeah, it's a nuanced answer. So. The actual procedure, there won't be as much drama, but the outside protests and the riots and stuff like that will be like magnified to the nth degree.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's gonna be unreal. Like, you're gonna see literally, like, when Trump announces the name, there's gonna be people in the streets.
Yep.
Like, they're already planning this shit. Look. Hey, look. Did you
guys? Well, this was gonna happen anyway. Look, and.
What was that?
Hello?
Hey.
Oh, there we go.
You chopped out for a second. Anyway, what were you saying?
I was saying you're going to see... Like, we already see people in the streets, but did you see what was happening today? There was already people in Philly, in Portland, holding vigils for Ruth Bader Ginsburg. But they weren't vigils. They were gatherings, as Antifa put it, where Antifa was activated. Black Lives Matter was activated. They were out in the streets destroying shit. You're already seeing it, and her body isn't even cold yet.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, she's probably, to be fair, she's probably been out for a while. They just announced, like, Kim Jong-un or whatever.
Yeah.
It's been a few years. They thought this was the right time to announce her death, quote unquote.
I wouldn't be surprised, because you know what? This motivates people because they always think they're going to overturn Roe versus Wade.
Uh-huh.
That's their big thing, which honestly, I don't think they're going to fucking touch that.
No. I don't think it is. I don't think they are either. I mean, both sides, both sides of the aisle are going to have their, like, extreme points that they're going to try to sell, but it's like, for us, it's like, look, this is the person. So I will say, like who do we think would be the person?
I was gonna say
early predictions.
I think it's gonna be someone very, like, probably moderate, honestly, just so they can try to get it through. Someone who's moderate.
No.
Probably.
Me, I want Judge Barrett. I like some hard conservative to the fucking letter, like just right in their fucking face. Like, no,
because
like,
they're not like, okay, even if they do that, then there's no way they're gonna get in then. Like, that's the thing. Like, until the election, you know.
Don't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if this time around, if there's a couple of Democrats in the swing states that actually, you know, turn too. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised, just because like like it's a little different. It's a little different of a situation this time around than when what was it? Then Kavanaugh was
Garland?
during midterms, right?
Yeah, he was.
Kavanaugh was during midterm. So it's a little different because this is like, you know, president, House and Senate. Like, and some of these yeah, you know, some of these Democrats are in midterm seats too. So you're not gonna like, I think they'll have the votes. I think it'll be close.
I actually don't.
I think it'll be close. And I think that, yeah, I think there's a good possibility that Mike Pence will have to be that 51st vote. But
well, let's keep one thing in mind too. I wanna wind the clocks back to Kavanaugh. His margin was 48-50, if I'm remembering correctly. I'm gonna pull it up because I just had it up. Okay, and that was probably a close up. Yeah, 50-48. He was confirmed. 50-48. Literally one vote. One vote would have made it a tie. One vote. And that was Kavanaugh, who was a moderate, who turned out to be a more conservative justice than they let on.
Well, probably after getting treated, like he even said that, you do this shit to me now. You know, you're gonna get the fucking revenge.
Yeah, I know. It makes sense. And I don't fucking blame him. What they did to him is awful.
It's like they're all talking about like, oh, they want to go to impeach Kavanaugh to like if Biden gets it. Like, I've never heard of a fucking justice getting impeached. I think that's unprecedented.
Well, we are in unprecedented times, in all fairness, as the left likes to remind us. But
like, I think there's provisions to do that, and who would go and rule with that? It'd be the other fucking justices. So unless you get like a court packing thing like during FDR's time, I don't think, you know, that would be, I don't know, like they do something like that. Like, let's say, you know, in an end time scenario, Biden somehow wins, you know, and then he tries to like fucking impeach, or the House votes to impeach fucking Kavanaugh. I don't know. Like, I could see that as sparking a fucking civil war, you know, something like that.
Well, I'm going to dive deep while we're discussing each of these nominees, but I'm trying to find this tweet from Cernovich and a few other people. They were tallying up like votes and seeing how people stood on this, because the decision's not going to come down to who they're nominating. It's the timing of it. Oh, we shouldn't vote to nominate somebody before an election. Oh, we shouldn't do this. You know, the Garland precedent, as they keep saying, you know, where they delayed it till after the election to vote. We can't deal with that, guys. Fairness doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when your enemy is not playing fair, when your enemy doesn't care. We cannot be worrying about what's consistent, what's fair, what's supposed to be done. We need to only be concerned about what's going to win and what's going to stop the enemy from advancing and making things worse. Okay, this is simple. So I think they should vote for this as soon as possible, but nomination processes take forever. And the other thing too is the House and Senate they don't get sworn in like the new session till, I don't even know if it's January. Isn't it February?
Something like that, I think.
So there's time, and I'm glad, like I said, I'm glad Trump's jumping on this quickly. So you need to do it within this time, and I'm worried. Look, there's a lot of swing votes here. Mitt Romney, that fucking guy.
He needs to get out.
What?
Like,
oh yeah.
I wish someone would have primaried his ass, but you know, it's tough in fucking Utah.
Well, and look, and also Susan Collins from Maine, she voted for Kavanaugh. I don't know what her poll numbers are looking like now, but many people were saying she was going to lose this cycle and lose her seat in 2020. We shall see, and we're going to look into that. But her vote is going to be, hinging on her reelection. Does she think voting for the nominee will help her? Does she think it'll hurt her? Does she even care if she loses her seat? I don't know. I think this is what we need to be looking at. Is like these swing votes are. I don't think this is going to be a easy fight. I think it's actually going to be harder to get swing votes this time around. I think it's going to be really hard. Really, really hard. Doesn't mean it's not going to happen. But I think it's going to be really hard. And if you look at... What was that?
That's why I don't think it's... I don't think we're going to get one before November.
Probably not before the election. Probably not before the election, but look, I mean, if the Republicans, I think the Republicans will likely keep the Senate after this election.
I think this ensures they keep the Senate.
Yeah.
Because look, it doesn't take rocket science. Voters are going to say, shit, if we don't keep the Senate, we don't get a Supreme Court nomination.
Yeah.
That's simple.
Yeah. I think I think the Republic. I was really confident. I was really confident that the Republicans would keep the Senate anyway. But
yeah, me too.
Now
it's just sealed.
Now I think it is, and I think this move, these threats that the Democrats are making, I think they're going to backfire. I think you're going to see a backfire, because I still feel like Trump's going to win re-election, and once he wins, and the Senate is still held by Republicans, I think this is going to be one of those. Oh, we're going to put some stank on this one. I think for me, I think Barrett. I like the Barrett pick. I do.
I'm gonna look into her because I always thought she was too. From what I remember, I think she didn't have anywhere near enough experience. I'm gonna double check it.
Yeah,
but
what kind of experience are you looking for as far as
years?
I mean, she's got a lot. She's got a lot of experience. Not as much as obviously not compared to Kavanaugh, but Kavanaugh was like Kavanaugh experience-wise was actually extremely rare, because he was a clerk for and he was he went the whole way through, and he spent a really long time, which I like Barrett, because she's very the letter of the law. What's the law? What does the Constitution say? Very, she's not into manipulation or anything like that. It's what does it say? Which is what we're looking for. Really, it's what you look for in a justice. And I just don't like the idea of having somebody moderate. I'm not.
We can't have moderates now.
No,
we need reliable conservative justices. This is look, I keep getting it. I remember when I was in the stupid CRs group, and I was like, we need to pack the courts. No, the packing courts is bad. I'm like, no. They're gonna do it. We both want to do it. Fucking do it before they do. They need to pack the courts with hard conservatives. At this point, that is the only option. Again, it is wartime. Let's man up. Let's get them in. And I do think it's a valid argument whether a moderate or a hardline conservative is easier to get through the Senate. That's a good question to ask. But I think what we need is a hardline conservative. I'm looking at Barrett's time. It seems like she only served as a law clerk for a few years. She spent most of her time as a professor. She was a professor of law from basically 2010 to 2017. And she was a clerk to Lawrence Silberman of the appeals court after graduating law school. She graduated in 97, she graduated law school, literally the year I was born. And so she was like a clerk for a little bit, then spent a year as a clerk to Anthony Scalia. I don't think she's going to get picked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I like her because like she's compared to Anthony Scalia. Like that's for me, that's enough for me. Like that's the kind of justice that we need. I know that the experience might not be what we're looking for, but I love that's the mold we're looking for. Like that is the mold of a Supreme Court justice that we are absolutely looking for.
I just don't understand the love for her. I'll be honest. I just don't get it. Like I'm not saying she's bad or anything. Like she does sound solid. I just don't get what the hype is about. You know what I mean? Like it's not like I don't like her. I just don't get the hype for her because I see her name thrown up a lot, and I'm like, okay, I think let's see. This is a long list he has here of nominees. Where was the other woman? Her name was like Lagoa. Yeah, Barbara Lagoa. I think, honestly, I need to look into these more before I make a prediction. I think it's going to be Barbara Lagoa or Bridget Bade.
Yeah, I'd say it would definitely help, like, at least if this happens before the election, if it's a woman, because then, that would kind of counter. And honestly, if it was someone who didn't really voice their fucking opinion about the abortion issue, because, I'm a pro-life person, but I know that the left's going to be screaming about that, and they will do anything to go and stop it. At least if you got
I do like the Lagoa pick too. I do. I think you can't go wrong with the Lagoa pick either. And here's another thing to look for. She what was she? Is she?
She was in Florida. Appointed by drum roll please, Jeb Bush.
Well,
that's probably not very helpful.
No, that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, these people appoint anybody.
Well, no, that's for the state. Like you're talking about the United States Court for Appeals or whatever.
Yeah, Florida Third District Court of Appeals.
Yeah.
Appointed by Jeb Bush. Wouldn't that be funny? Actually, that's funny. Just think about that. Trump appoints one of Jeb's judges. Like Jeb wasn't even able to become president to appoint like one of his own people. Like Trump cucks him even to this day.
It'd be funny. What if, like, let's say this happened, whatever happens, it gets delayed until after the election. Trump wins the Senate. What if you put, like, fucking Ted Cruz up there? Because he was a lawyer, wasn't he?
Yeah, but that's the one thing I don't get about this list. As people like Ted Cruz and Tom Cotton, none of those people are going to be Supreme Court justices.
If he fucking, like, got a
funny
in there and he could do that, oh my god, like, see... My only concern with him, though, is he's older, That'd be my concern. You want to pick someone young, but, like...
Well, you want somebody with experience, though, so you want more, like, middle-aged.
But you get someone who's younger, they will stay on there for fucking...
So the Lagoa pick is interesting, too, because she's Latina. So that is an interesting one. Like, because we're already starting to see that Joe Biden is struggling with the Latino vote, right? And here we go, right? You're talking about Donald Trump possibly appointing a Latina Supreme Court justice. Like,
Dude,
look, you're
it
like,
would
that's
be epic.
Yeah,
it would be epic because they can't look. It goes against everything. I mean, when it would just look. I'm not one to play identity politics unless you're fighting back against it as like an anecdote.
Yeah,
this would be the anecdote to it, and this would make them lose their fucking minds. It would be unbelievable.
Yeah, so, and I mean, I just don't think that that Biden's going to get the kind of attention, like with he's the attention's not going to be as heavy with like African Americans and Latinos
Well, with
as like 2016 or like even with Obama. Like I feel like these people get it. Like, look, I'm telling you, Latinos get it, right? You got a lot of Latinos that are like Christian. They're Christian.
They're
You got a lot of
Catholic.
Christian ones. They're Catholic. Like they're all about the family. Like they're all about the family and the conservative lifestyle and the family tradition. Like, look, this is what's at stake. Like they get it. And look, legal immigration is something that's valued to the people that are already here. Like, no, look, so because a lot of these Latinas in this country, like they came in the right way. Like they came in the right way and they did the legal process. So it's like, no, if we had to suffer, guess what? You want to come into this country, you're gonna have to do the same thing. Like I feel like they're not gonna flock to Biden like they did with Obama or even Hillary. Like I don't even think it's gonna be like I don't know. Just Trump is a different character all in himself. Like
Interestingly, hey, how you doing?
What's up, Gamma?
Oh man, I was just listening. I actually have an anecdote related to that. My area of the country up here. I'm kind of the Midwest, but I'm near farms and particularly dairy farms and stuff. And there's quite a thick and an ever growing the decade or so that I've lived up here Hispanic population. A lot of it is actually illegal immigrants, but there's I don't want to say a lot of. In my experience, more than half are legal immigrants, but there is, they have family members and stuff, and they as you mentioned, Phil, they take care of their own. And
yeah,
but in particular, this young woman that I've been talking to, is Hispanic, and she was born in Texas, but yeah, both of her parents were legal immigrants here. And her mom she speaks English. She doesn't understand it super well, but she can, articulate it. But recently, I was talking to her about the president. And when we first met, she kind of chastised me because she's a fiery Mexican woman, about my even tacit support of the man. And I didn't really engage in an argument. I was like, yeah, I mean, there's like any politician, there's things that there are things that I would change, but I think there's a lot of good there. And just yesterday, she was so excited. She couldn't speak English. She had to start talking Spanish to her daughter to translate to me. And she's like, I get it now. I get it. And she painted all these things, these pictures that had been, or these dots that had been connected for her. But moreover, other Hispanics, that are here legally, they have a common word, which is not, I guess it's not uncommon word in general, but they all tend to refer to the illegal the people flooding the border as moochers. They have family members. These legal immigrants that I know have family members that are, either here illegally or they've helped people illegally, and it's not that they endorse that, but the people that they've helped, again, in my experience, are, they help them get the path to legal citizenship. I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I don't agree with illegal anything, except for the drugs that I do, because they're drugs. How about this is good. But to agree with your point, like I've seen it in the population around me in the Midwest here. I've actually seen a shift recently amongst a lot of the ones that I know on a quite personal level. They, borderline Trump derangement syndrome, and at some heel turn, it's been any number of things over the last few weeks that, be it the way the Democrats have acted, and they're they're full bore behind a goddamn meat puppet that is Joe Biden, or the goddamn workhorse that is our president right now. I was saying this earlier on the Whitfield report. I've never seen any politician any two politicians be in so many fucking places as that man has been over the last couple of months, and do as many things, and it's impressive. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was saying actually last time I was on the show with you guys. I think it's a good idea that he goes and puts himself in these places, and it seems to be working. He's not even come to my neck of the woods, and he's already swayed my local population, the immigrant population at that. So
did you guys see, Phil, you might be interested in this, that Trump is coming to what was that?
I couldn't hear any of that.
You were chopping out a little bit again.
yeah,
that's
you roboted
weird.
a little bit.
God. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Phil, you might be interested in this in particular since it's close to our neck of the woods. Trump's gonna be in, I forget what that town's called, but it's near Harrisburg next Saturday.
Okay.
He's gonna have a big rally.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like somebody might have to show up there.
I might be. It depends. It's a big depends, because I might be required to be out there. Milltown. That's what's called, Milltown.
Middletown. Oh yeah, that's Penn State Harrisburg.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he was I think it was sometime next week. It was like Wednesday or something.
Oh yeah, he is coming to an area near where you are. I forget what it's called, but it's only like 30 minutes from you know what county. So also I'm looking into, this is to kind of go back on topic a little bit. I'm looking into Amy Barrett a bit, and according to this article by Axios by Jonathan Swain.
Jesus, you're going to Axios? What the fuck?
We went from Slate to Axios. This is what I call progressive.
Jesus.
Well, hear me out, because this might be interesting. Might be. Jonathan Swain heard from some insider sources around Trump, where at the time of the Kavanaugh thing, Trump said he was saving Amy Barrett for Ginsburg. According to 3 sources familiar to the president's private conversations, Barrett is a favorite among conservatives, which it explains here, but Trump chose to wait. Some advisors worried Barrett's staunch opposition to abortion rights, I love how they always frame it as abortion rights, it's abortion, would lose the votes of Susan Collins and Lisa Murkowski, but there wasn't consensus among his advisors. Trump came to doubt that the women in his shorthand, Collins and Murkowski, would support Barrett. Some of Trump's aides felt confident about picking up more Senate seats in 2018 midterms, meaning a more conservative pick might stand a better chance later, but there's no guarantee that he would get another pick. Well, that's changed now, hasn't it? And it also says, though, that Trump changed his mind all the time. Barrett needed to undergo a fresh round of vetting, and Barrett's education didn't appeal to Trump, according to sources familiar with his thinking.
Yeah, that's another thing too, because Barrett got her JD at Notre Dame, whereas Lagoa, she got hers at Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a big, that is kind of I mean, it's a little bit more like the more I look at Judge Lagoa, like it seems a little bit more attractive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't get me wrong, there's pros and cons. Like I don't know if you could really go wrong with either one, but I think like with Lagoa, there seems to be a little bit more of a draw.
It says that Trump supposedly prefers candidates with Harvard and Yale on their resumes.
Yeah,
I disagree. Like, I'll disagree with Trump on that. Like, honestly, if they've been practicing law for so long, like, who gives a fuck where you got your education?
Yeah, I mean, I do. Traditionally, I agree with you too.
Yeah,
like,
same.
but I know that Trump. Well, I mean, so I think.
Like, see, that just
I think we're seeing. So with all of us. Hey, what's up, Sam?
So I've been informed that saying so a lot is my thing. So
Well, apparently I do it a lot too. But
oh good, I'm not alone then.
no, you are not. But Alex, the like we're in school, we were in school, and Sean too,
Hi.
during a period where the Ivy League schools don't really have that that educational prestige like it used to. Like these Ivy League schools have more of a connections kind of thing. Like it's more of a elite ivory tower kind of connection sort of thing. Whereas like before, like when you're talking about like the 80s and stuff, like the 80s and even the 90s, it was like it was more of an institution of real premier education. Like now it's not as much like that educational luster has kind of faded a little bit. And so I mean, for me it's like, well, I mean, you don't really, you honestly don't need it. Like
Well,
I'd like,
here's my thing. If you're already like in the workforce for like, 5-10 years, like if you just came out of college, okay, I could understand there is prestige factor. But if you've been in the work for 5-10 years, your actual work experience should matter a hell of a lot more than like some piece of paper you got from some university.
I agree.
what? Yeah. I totally agree with that too.
Maybe this
I totally agree with that too.
an unfair thing because I didn't go for a law degree, but like, I learned way more when I was like actually doing work than when I was in college. Like way more from that sort of thing. Maybe in like Yale and stuff, that's different. But even then, like 5 years, 10 years out, what the fuck does it matter? I could care less if you got a fucking degree from the Cayman Islands, as long as your post degree work is adequate and shows that you're a smart person. Because if you're a dumbass and you're a lawyer, you're not going to go very far. You're going to be like fucking Saul Goodman over there.
And of course, with the experience, good thing you mentioned that. I think Lagoa's got
way more than Barrett.
Yeah, she's got more than Barrett too. So
That's where I don't get the hype around Barrett. I think
well, it's because she is very like her methodology is very attractive as far as conservatives go, because she's very letter of the law, like very Anthony Scalia like, and that is very, it's appealing to conservatives. But I mean, if you look at it from a, like, you take a step back and you look at it from a comparative perspective, like, Lagoa definitely has the more attractive resume. It's what do you want, right? It's what do you want, right?
Also,
and
Kate Todd is the only one on the list that graduated from Harvard.
Yeah, but that,
I'm not saying she's possible. I'm looking at her and there's like literally nothing coming up. She doesn't have a Wikipedia page. And if you don't have a Wikipedia page, you're nobody. So Kate Todd's out. Allison E is a potential. Yeah. I think it's down to Barrett, Lagoa, and Ede.
Everyone in the Whitfield report audience was, when I did the show earlier, was saying they all like Barrett. So
everybody keeps saying that. I don't get it. Like, why?
It's the delivery. It's the delivery. It's the hard conservative performance, right? It's because it's like, I mean, it's like, if you're looking at it, it's all in how you look at it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're looking at a justice from I want somebody experienced, I want somebody, that's had a more of a pedigree, that, like obviously Lagoa is a better choice. But if you're looking at it from a judge quality perspective, from a hard, like, oh, they're gonna stick up for Catholic or they're gonna stick up for religious conservative values, and they're going to defend it till the very last breath, it's probably going to be Barrett. Like I think Lagoa could probably have a little bit more of a, you know, moderate leeway maybe. I mean, she's conservative too, but it's more of a like there's definitely more room, I think, for, you know, Lagoa to go kind of the mainstream too. It's what you look for. But like conservatives, I understand why conservatives, like very deep conservatives, are like Amy Barrett. Like I definitely can get it. But like with you and I, we kind of like, you know, okay, what's the experience, what's the pedigree, you know, what, like all the other stuff. So it's like because you look at it from like even from a hiring perspective, you look at the total package. Like what is the total package of this individual? Like even from an athlete perspective, right? When like I go to the athlete perspective, like okay, when somebody's doling out like a big contract to an athlete, it's like, well, obviously, can they perform? Can they perform? Can they help me win? But do they have leadership qualities? Can I market this guy, right? Can I market this athlete, like, to, you know, make even more money, right? And it's like a total perspective. So you look at it from that perspective, and it's like, well, obviously you look at it like that's the kind of person you look for, and it seems like Lagoa would be that more fit. And of course, you know, and I like you, I hate looking at identity politics as well, but yeah, being Latina, that boy, that doesn't hurt. And like you're reaching out too.
I'm looking at too. I need to see videos of Lagoa and Barrett to compare, but I'm just looking at pictures of her, like when she's speaking. She has a presence. She has like I'm the shit, like presence. Lagoa. And I see Barrett. Look, I need to watch videos to really get a sense of this better. Yeah. I think the pick is down to Barrett or Lagoa, and I think Trump is. I don't want to read minds, but my guess is Trump is probably looking at both of them. I think actually those are the only two options. If I were to actually make a prediction today, right now, as to who I think will get nominated, I'm going to put money on Lagoa. I would not put it on Barrett, even though it's pretty 50-50. I'm not going to lie. I'm not looking at right now, like, making this bet here on, you know, well, she's got XXXXX and Barrett's got YYYYY. Yeah. I mean, and I look at that, and, like, if I were to personally pick, I'd probably pick Lagoa. But in terms of, like, what's going to happen, not what I want to happen, but what is going to happen, I think it's a toss-up. But I think Lagoa has the edge. And I think the edge comes from the experience, the degree, the demographics, and the all-around just persona and presence.
Yeah. I can agree with that. And
I could be wrong. Could be totally wrong.
I mean, we've, you know, there's definitely a you know, Trump goes in his direction, which I mean, I admire. Part of that is part of what I admire about the guy, right? He's strong in his convictions, which I can certainly respect. But he also, you know, he has good people around him as well. I mean, he comes from, you know, he was promoted by Ron DeSantis. He was promoted by, like, I'm sure that weighs in too. I mean, there's a lot to look in as far as that goes. But I mean, oh yeah, I do lean in favor. Like if it were me personally, I guess I would probably lean in favor of Lagoa. But I guess it's a tough one, because, you know, we do want someone like you want someone that is going to like put those conservative views those conservative principles at the forefront. Like you want that is the most that is the most like that's the biggest necessity that we're asking for in a judge, right? But I mean, yeah.
Now,
I
which one's
What was that?
say it again.
which one's older?
Good question. I think it's actually, I'm gonna double check before I say it. I think it's Lagoa, but, and here's the big but. It's not a big difference. It's not like 10 years. I think it's like a couple. Okay, Amy Barrett's 48. And Lagoa is...
Logo is 52.
Yeah. That's kind of cutting it close, but 4-year difference, it's not that much.
Yeah.
If it was like more than that, if we were over 5, I'd be like, ooh, okay. That's different. Also, from a CBS News reporter, Paula Reed, she says sources familiar with White House vetting processes tell me White House would like to announce Scott's nomination in the next 10 days before first presidential debate. Very smart. And these 3 judges are getting serious consideration. Judge Amy Barrett, Judge Barbara Lagoa, Judge Amul Thapar. Amul Thapar donated to McConnell's campaign, or his wife did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a little.
That makes him a dark horse. And the reason I say dark horse is because not because they're Indian. Before anybody calls me a racist. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is because he's a man. I don't see a man getting nominated. Just don't see it.
No.
At all.
He already said it in his last speech. It was like it was a woman.
Yeah.
Right? There was a whole bunch of women that were in the field. Like, no, if I were in the room with Trump, I'd be like, dude, pick Lagoa.
Same. It's Barrett or Lagoa, and I think he's gonna pick Lagoa. It still could be Barrett, but I don't know.
I mean, I wouldn't be pissed.
Same.
I wouldn't be pissed if he picked Barrett. But I'm like, look, that is like the more I'm reading, the more I'm reading about Lagoa, the more I like her.
Yeah.
Like the more I'm like, yeah, that's from multiple perspectives too. Like I just like it.
Now, I just found this tweet, and I do, when I say I just found, I do mean I just found. I'm not, cheating my prediction here, but Mark Caputo says, and he is, I guess, a reporter or something. He says, U.S. Circuit Court Judge and former Florida Supreme Court Justice Barbara Lagoa is at the top of Trump's list to fill Ginsburg's seat. Sources who spoke to White House, quote, Justice Lagoa is perfect. Trump wants a conservative jurist, and he wants to win the biggest battleground. Geography aside, Lagoa also has some demographic advantages. She's a Cuban American from Miami, a crucial voting bloc for Trump. Sources, how do Democrats in the Senate vote against a Latina? That's what we were saying. Lagoa is at the top of the list. She checks a lot of boxes from a second source. Last little bit here, he says, is just because someone's at the top of the list, though, does not mean that she's going to be picked or has been picked. Judge Amy Barrett is at the top as well and was a professor in Pence's home state of Indiana. Ooh, that's interesting.
That is exactly what we're talking about. That is basically the last 20 minutes of this conversation in a nutshell.
Yeah. There's so many angles to this. It is a toss-up. It is inevitably a toss-up, but I think Lagoa has the slight edge.
See here at Versa Media, we have intense, intelligent conversation. Of course, we have a lot of stupidity going on over here.
We would never, ever allow stupidity.
Mostly me, I will admit, because I'm a bit of a goofball. But
I'm a goofy
a lot,
yeah.
My audience complains that Phil is like loud. I've actually
why is that a complaint?
Man, no, man.
From a loud? Jeez.
Because I'm wearing headphones and his voice makes me bleed. My ears bleed.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I have an animated personality, and then when I raise my animation up some, it can. Yeah, I'm sure for somebody wearing the right headphones, it could probably be a little much for him. I get that, but
I'm animated. I'm
it's
afraid. I eat meat.
I'm
an
real.
explorer.
What you see is what you get, motherfuckers. No, I'm just playing.
It's like that. It is like that Alex Jones clip where he's like, "I'm animated. I like to eat meat." Like that's Phil in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much.
I fucking love Dictator Phil. I want to have like a one-on-one show with him one of these.
Hey, we could do that. Well, we've already had a couple of them.
Yeah, I was gonna
Shit.
say.
We have so.
What were you laughing
Yeah.
about, Alex? I think you said something.
Yeah, we want a one-on-one show with them.
Oh, jeez. Like, no.
Night is only.
You got-
Ooh.
No, I have to charge money for that shit. No, you.
What's your handle on OnlyFans, Phil?
Yeah,
Silence.
that's definitely a pluffy fill on that one. No,
Should we put it in the
Yeah.
links in the description, people?
Yeah. So who wants to talk? Because we got Penn State. We got 3 Penn Staters on this board. Who wants to give the good news about Penn State right now?
Real quick before we
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Before we dive into that, I don't know if you guys covered this yet, but Trump's reaction to RBG's
Yeah.
passing.
I saw that.
Yeah.
Have you guys talked about that yet?
You know what? We can. I thought that it was very I thought it was very real and really admirable because
Thank you.
he heard it and it was like, and you could tell he was taken back like by the news. Like it was very real. It was like,
well,
exactly.
But the reason why I bring that up is because that's what I said, and that's what like a lot of other people said. But then I got like all the Trump derangement syndrome faggots on in my feed.
Now we're demonetized.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go.
Goodbye, money. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah. Well, and just to clarify, I don't mean homosexuals. I mean they're just.
He means Harley Riders. He means Harley Riders.
That's it.
That's the South Park reference for our loyal minions.
That's exactly what I mean. Well, and that's also a Louis C.K. reference. And that's also a Louis C.K. reference because Louis C.K. says in a lot of his bits, "There's nothing wrong with being gay, just don't be a fag about it." But no, all these Trump derangement syndrome folks were like, well, he's clearly faking the sincerity, and how did he not know about that beforehand?
He was literally doing a rally. He was at a rally.
And that's what I told him, but they're like,
no, that's bullshit. Somebody should have whispered in his ear, like, okay, he should have known at all times.
You know how many times they fake this shit?
Phil, I kid you not. That is literally word for word what one of those people said to me on Twitter. Word for word.
Do you know how many times they faked like bait or what was it?
Schumer?
No, or RGB's death like over the past fucking year. Like he's probably like, oh, you pulling my leg and you get this from like bobnews.co.ru. Like it's like the fucking Chicken Little story. He keeps saying the sky's falling them and actually does. It's like, oh, you probably thought it was like a fucking joke, like someone was like saying this shit. I wouldn't be surprised.
But my other point is, it's.
Mm-hmm.
My other point though to this is these people that are always complaining, oh well, Trump just needs to be more civil and he needs to be more like tasteful and have more decorum. It's like well, that was like even I was surprised. I'm like, wow, Trump was actually like very presidential with that. And so So he basically gave them what everyone's been wanting from him, and it's like, oh, he just faked it or something like that.
No,
So,
it's real. It's real. And that's
Yeah.
what I feel like I'm getting with Trump. That's part why I like Trump. Like,
Oh, yeah.
and this is like a philosophical thing that people just tend to kind of go with. Oh, he needs to be more presidential. He
Hate
needs,
that
because
shit.
he's like a role model for everybody else in the world. I'm like, look, no, go suck a dick, okay? Like, I don't like, because first off, okay, what's presidential? Like, you had Barack Obama, who was quote unquote presidential for 8 years, but didn't get jack shit done, right? And then, like, I'm sorry, I will take Donald Trump cursing and eating fucking Big Macs and all that shit. I will take that over, and for 4 years, and with all the shit that he's gotten done over Barack Obama and his 8 years of not doing jack shit, over Joe Biden with 47 years and not doing shit. Okay,
Well,
I'm not
here too. You know, if you want to talk about like who was the last presidential president, like look what fucking Bill Clinton did. He got a fucking blowjob in the Oval Office. I think that is when it was like, okay, maybe we should go reconsider having presidents be role models because, you know, adultery is okay. But
yeah, well, no, let's just get somebody that gets shit done. How about that?
you know,
What
not
a job. It's
blowjob.
not.
You use a cigar as a dildo. You know, he's promoting smoking too. You know, that's very good for the children.
Yeah. Okay. The
Trump
the
doesn't
whole
smoke or drink.
If being presidential works, how did Barack Obama do with that whole fucking Middle East thing, right?
Oh, don't, Phil, unless you want me to go on an Alex Jones style rant, don't bring up Barack Obama in the Middle East. So.
Yeah. No, I'm saying, again, 8 years and the Middle East was in turmoil. ISIS blew up to God knows what. And like, dude, in 3 years of Trump, ISIS is decimated. People are recognizing Israel as a country. There's peace pretty much growing throughout the Middle East. Like, it's like, no, I'll take that.
And
I'll take that guy that curses on Twitter.
For the LOL libertarians who follow me and who have subsequently tuned into this program.
You know what? Justin Amash, that reminds.
Yes, I'm open.
Thank you.
That guy.
Thank you.
But,
Sam,
let me
Sam,
just point something out to you guys too. No new wars under Trump.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys need to vote for Trump as well.
By the way, you bring up a great point with the libertarians, right? The Justin Amash decided to tweet something, and he was like, "Oh, a bunch of double standards are both hypocrisy on both sides." Like, shut your ass up, Justin Amash. That dude's the biggest fucking hypocrite in Congress. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's the biggest hypocrite in fucking Congress. The Republican that abandoned the Republicans to join the Libertarians, and then once he realized he wasn't keeping his seat because he wasn't enough of an individual to matter, then he decided to fucking drop out or decide not to run again. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Also, I would like to know a couple things. One, I need to respond to this guy's like snaps because I've just been so busy. It's been over like 24 hours. I'm in this like Snapchat back and forth with this libertarian because like I posted the thing about the Lancaster riots and he's like, yeah, in that case, you know, yeah, the cops did the right thing, and I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, I agree. Like these people, but Black Lives Matter is cancer. He's like, well, I don't know, man, you know, Black Lives Matter, you know, they I don't know, like, I think both parties, like, get things wrong, and I think Black Lives Matter is a grain of truth to it. I'm like,
no.
Oh, give me a
fucking
fucking
break.
break.
Talk about Black Lives Matter. Let's talk about the Chinese Communist Party ties with Black Lives Matter. That's something that I heard about this, and I was like, I need to do some research because it seems really far-fetched. Looked it up, and, it's pretty, from what I could see, The one lady who's the co-founder is related to this other organization, which gets funding from the Chinese Progressive Association of California. And guess where they get? Guess what they do a lot of?
China.
Yeah, China business. We talk about TikTok and all this other shit. Let's ban the Chinese Progressive Association. Some Maoist fucking association that needs to go. It's a foreign influence, an unregistered foreign influencer in the United States that's been going under the radar for so long.
So basically, China's funding Black Lives Matter, and
They're
Black Lives
funding
Matter's funding
fucking-
China.
They're funding fucking everything, dude. They're funding social media. They're funding the entertainment industry as a whole. Like, we're talking movies, music, TV, every fucking thing in the entertainment industry. They're funding a large chunk of the education industry. And yes, it is an industry. Yeah, they're funding pretty much all of everything that's going against Republicans. The Chinese are funding. The CCP are funding. And yeah, Black Lives Matter, again, another thing that they're funding too. I'm sure George Soros is funneling a whole shit ton of Chinese money through his bullshit foundation. I
love
this is
the
what we're up
name.
against. Huh?
Did you see the name of it? The Chinese Progressive Association.
Well, you know they're in fucking league. There's some Maoist fucking organization right there. Some arm of the CCP. It's like the Confucius Institute. And Penn State actually had ties with them until relatively recently.
What?
Yeah, look this up. You can fact check me on here, but I remember when I was learning Chinese, I was like, I think a year or two before I started taking Chinese, they ended their contract with the Confucius Institute, which has been, they've been caught. They'll provide teachers over here, but they'll also spy on Chinese nationals abroad. And eventually, thankfully, Penn State nixed them, but they were a part of Penn State for a long time, and they're basically a foreign, Chinese operation.
Foreign influence. Black Lives Matter is colluding with the Chinese. That should be the headline. BLM BLM Chinese collusion. I mean, I just still love this name, Chinese Progressive Association. You know what that should be? A Chinese Progressive Association would be pro-freedom, pro-capitalism, pro-gun, pro-traditional family. But we all know that's not the case. It's the complete opposite of that. So it's a total bullshit name. But
and you have to go and consider too, why are these Black Lives Matter affiliates working with this Chinese progressive organization? If it was
money,
they're funding them.
Yeah, Black Lives Matter is all about money. The actual organization is all about votes and money, and it's very simple. And when I get into this argument as libertarian, it's dude, get real. And then he started saying again, you mention anything like this, about the two parties, they get triggered. That's their biggest trigger, is the third part, the idea of a third party being a fantasy.
That's another thing that fucking irks me about the libertarians too. It's
they can only be called that.
There is a third party. No.
Okay.
How? Okay, idiot. What in your perfect world? How do you see this fucking bullshit going down? Right? They're and I heard, oh well, if they get enough electoral votes, then nobody can get to 270, and then they'll have to go to Congress. How do you think that's gonna fucking play out? You think anybody's going to vote for a fucking libertarian? You think a Democrat's going to vote for a libertarian? No. You think a Republican's going to vote for a libertarian? No. Guess what? You're fresh out of fucking luck.
You're going to get maybe one vote. Maybe.
Not even.
You know what he told me?
Because the only dude, the only homo in the fucking and I'm sorry, I meant libertarian. not much difference there. The only dude that is in Congress that is a admitted libertarian is leaving Congress. The one dude, Justin Amash,
And
he's
he only got
leaving
in
Congress
as a Republican.
as a Republican, right? It make like they don't get it. Like and then it's like, well, like they're trying to fit this, like the Libertarian Party is trying to fit these presidential candidates into this thing, and they're doing it all wrong. Like you want, if you're trying to grow a political party, get people in Congress first. Okay,
Yeah, don't
that's
jump
what you should be doing
to
first,
presidency.
right? Because you have more of a presence. You have more of a presence in Congress because you're going to have the floor. People are going to have to listen to what you say. Be like, and like if you're continuing to run for president, well, fuck no, you're not going to win. So that nobody gives a you go back to 4 years of nobody giving a shit about the Libertarian Party. Like at least, like you got to build equity. Like you got to build equity within your party. And yeah, whatever.
That's a good point. Like this guy was telling me, he's like, "Oh, but the Libertarian Party's growing." And I told him like the third parties don't matter. He's like, "You think 4 million people don't matter?" I'm like,
"No,
yeah.
4 million people don't matter. They don't matter in a country of 350 million people."
Yeah.
Like, who gives a flying ass about 4 million people in a fucking country of 300 plus million people?
Well, even if you're gonna be generous and be like, okay, most people don't vote, so let's narrow it down to the people that did vote. It's like 60 million. I think it's like 65 million basically for Hillary and Trump. It's around those numbers. You have to persuade 56 million people to fucking vote for your third party. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, no. Get if you really are legitimately wanting to be a libertarian and you want your party to grow, like honestly grow, not be this demented piece of shit that thinks your party's growing when it actually isn't. Get in Congress. And that way, even when you're talking about bills, like you're talking about bills or you're talking about anything, right? People are going to want you to caucus on their side, right? So then they're going to have to make concessions, right? If they want your vote, they're like, oh, well, we're going to have to make some concessions on this next budget or this next bill or whatever they're trying to pass. Right? That's how you start gaining your influence. And then people are like, well, what are these people talking about? Why are these people such a big pain in the ass? So then they start doing research on the Libertarian Party, and that's when you get your fucking growth, right?
Yeah. And you're still not gonna get it. Like that's the thing.
I mean,
that is the path to do it.
That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, they're still a retarded party, so they're still not going to grow. But at least you got a chance. You got a chance.
It's the smarter way of doing it. But and the smartest way of doing it is the Rand Paul way. Work within the system. Work within one of the major parties. And again, I am so done with this idea. I always hear from libertarians that the libertarian movement or whatever it is, like libertarians are growing. Both sides are growing. There's new voters getting registered for both sides. There's new registered voters for libertarians. But guess what? It still doesn't make a difference, guys. You're still gonna lose, and nobody's gonna care about it. I don't get where these people, I'm convinced, are either stupid or they're children. Okay? And children are stupid, so I guess they're just children. And I don't want to be mean, but literally, my knee-jerk reaction to any libertarian now is just grow up. Just grow up. Because that's what this is. It's immaturity. It's somebody that doesn't have a grasp of the real world, and it just simply doesn't get it. And I'm not trying to be mean or condescending, but it's like, I'm done with. I'm so tired of it. Like, I'm so tired of these people. They're just frustrating. Like, the only way you could actually use a third party effectively is as a spoiler, like with Ross Perot. If you really want to do something effective as a third party, it's a spoiler.
Yeah. But even then, you're not. Nobody's gonna take you seriously there either. Like you're just seen as the dick at the party. Like it's like, well, you're like, oh, this motherfucker. Oh Jesus. No, like at least
he's the cock blocker.
Yeah, he's the dick blocker. But like at least be the person that like in Congress that like that I have to work with. Like be the person that I actually have to work with versus somebody that's just kind of there, right? And it's like, oh, I'm there, but I really don't pack a punch. I'm really not like, nobody's gonna take me seriously. No, like, I don't know.
What the fuck is this? Joe Jurgensen tweets, guaranteed security and equity conflict with freedom. Force equity conflicts with freedom. The American dream gives everyone equal rights. It does not guarantee equal outcomes, nor should it.
I mean,
what kind of like I get it and I agree with it, but it's like, why are you tweeting this 7 hours ago? What is the relevancy of this at all?
I mean, it's.
Hey.
I don't think she's serious. I don't think she's serious either. I think she's just like I think she just showed up. Like, I mean, she's trying to look appealing to somebody else.
She definitely does
I think
not
it's a commercial.
Look appealing.
No, I'm saying to her base because Justin.
No, I know. I'm talking about
because look,
else.
just let's be real. Like even in her own bullshit party, like Justin Amash quit like a bitch, and apparently the dude with the boot on his head didn't win or whatever. Like, there's nothing, there's no real direction going on.
You see this picture? Does this look appealing?
No, I mean, it looks more like Carol Baskin than anything.
It fucking does. I think, was it Alex? Were you the first one that drew that comparison?
Yeah, she fucking does. She looks like Carol Baskin. I trust her about as much as I trust Carol Baskin. Which, Tiger King, I wouldn't trust her a whole lot.
This is not a poll to brag about. Look at this. She tweets, the hashtag Gold Rush is coming. Now if those DNR voters would just stop splitting the libertarian vote. Yeah, they're splitting the vote. Okay, that's what's going on here.
Yeah,
Joe Jurgensen polls at 12% among Gen Z / millennials in the latest NPR poll. First of all, that's fucking pitiful.
Like Stephen Hawking's like ghost.
Jesus.
I don't even know. Is that the Green Party candidate? I mean, look, this is not a poll to brag about, and I'll tell you simply why. Because it's what I just said earlier. Kids are stupid.
NPR poll.
And NPR
poll. That's all I have to say.
They're probably like, oh, that name sounds cool, Jorgensen.
Yeah, it's the longest one. We'll pick that one.
Yeah.
The most letters.
Like kids who don't give a shit about anything. It's like, oh, that sounds cool. That sounds cool.
NPR poll, and that's it, right? That's all I need to say. Oh, he polled at 12% with Gen Z. NPR poll. That's pretty much the end of that discussion, right?
NPR PBS poll, to be exact.
I thought it said Marxist poll.
Me too.
It's look. I see poll. I'll see poll. And I'm like, I'm throwing that shit away. Like I'm like, there's no public poll that's honest at all. I'm sorry. I don't trust public polls at all. There's a reason why campaigns do internal polls, and then then there's public polls, right? Because nobody trusts the fucking public polls. Like.
Yeah,
outside of the fringe, outside of the fringe whack jobs that fucking watch their fucking news networks. I don't even trust Fox News. I think Fox News polls are garbage too.
They are.
Like, yeah, I don't trust any. Like you said, oh, Fox News poll came out and Biden's leading by 6 points. Like, go fuck yourself, okay? Fox News is shit, okay? I'm sorry. No, the polls.
Yeah.
The polls are shit.
I'm also diving into the methodology here.
And a small chunk of their channel, too. But anyway, go ahead.
No, that's actually true.
Yeah.
But it surveyed 1,152 adults. Only 964 of them were registered.
Such a great sample size. Oh my God.
18 years of age and older reside in the U.S. and there are 964 registered voters. So they're not even all registered voters.
Wait a minute, what was the sample size again? Tell me the sample size again.
1,152.
Yeah.
About 1,152. That's a great sample size that represents the 300 million people in this fucking country. Yeah.
It's like
good job.
A big class in like fucking Penn State and then like a smaller class. Like 2 fucking classes. Like
964 registered. 723 are likely voters. So only about a little over half are likely voters.
They went to a fucking feminist rally and started taking tallies. Like, are you kidding me?
Reminds me of that time at Penn State when we had the focus group there.
Oh, that was funny as shit.
See, that shows you how like bullshit like polls and focus groups are.
We stacked it
for political things, at least. Yeah, you can do that. It's not hard.
It's not. We did it.
Yeah.
With pride. And if you break it down too by party lines, okay, let's look here. They got 31% of Democrats, 29% Republicans, and 38% Independents. They're claiming the national register percentage it's about the same, which I guess it is. I mean, apparently there are more registered independents than registered Republicans, and there's more registered independents, more registered Democrats. I don't know if I really believe that.
No, I mean, look, independents are. Well, there are a lot of independents in the country, but
fucking stupid. Like, if you're watching this, unless you live in one of the few states that like let you choose like which primaries to vote in, there's no benefit to voting. Like, at least in PA, there's no benefit to registering as an independent.
I'm a registered independent.
Well, yeah, but then you can't vote in primaries.
I don't give a shit about primaries.
Hey, that's important, man. That's where you get to go and be the fucking game picker, man.
The game picker.
You get to go and like
the main reason that I don't like getting any of the fucking the mail or the texts or the emails or anything like that.
Yeah, but that makes you actually more likely to get those things because that's who they're targeting.
No, I don't get them. My mom is a fucking registered Democrat. Of course, she's voting Trump and all that shit. But like.
You mean the things the party sends out?
But they send her all kinds of shit. Like she gets all kinds of bullshit in the mail, like all these fucking retarded flyers or whatever. Like D. Pasquale or some shit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna deep dive into this poll. Like, we can deep dive into this for a bit because this is a poll, like just a general poll. Like, it has like a lot of. It's not just like Gen Z, but like Jurgensen like found this like snippet here in this poll that makes her look not as big of a loser.
And NPR. Anybody that says that NPR is objective, just punch yourself in the face repeatedly until you pass out. Like, the CEO of NPR donated to the Hillary Clinton campaign. All right, now get the fuck out of my face. Yeah, there you go. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit.
Well, I hate when people think this is the stupidest perception. Like, and again, it's this perception. If the news is boring, the more boring it is, the more objective it is. That is such a bullshit way of looking at things. Like, it doesn't matter. You can be the most entertaining person and still be the most objective. You can be the most boring person and be the most biased. Like, I think it's just, I hear that so many times and it's so stupid. Like, oh, NPR? Yeah, why do you think they're objective? Well, because they're kind of, they're kind of low-key. They're boring news, so But
they're shitty and not objective. That's all it proves.
Yeah, I know.
You can be animated. You'd be like, "Oh, right, folks. So there's a fucking storm coming right up over here. It's gonna like wipe out like half these farmlands. We got this hurricane Cassandra coming around over here, and we're getting fucked. But let's stick it over here to the local news. Yeah, man, the basketball team, they threw a bunch of balls in there. They got it. They smacked those balls up all over town.
They smacked those balls up all over town. Let's put that on a t-shirt.
The fucking hockey team, man, the Chicago Smackaronis, they got 20 scores in the ball hole, or the puck clock. The puck got a bunch of
the New Jersey anus punchers just won another one. Back to you, Rod.
Yeah, you could be starting like with just boring shit like, oh, it's gonna be a sunny day. Oh man, it's gonna be a great day. Get out there, get on the boat, go and have some fun, bang some hookers. It's a great day to be alive.
Snort a line of coke, god damn it.
Yeah, you can be a fun fucking news agency and deal with boring news. Like, be objective. You don't have to be boring to be objective.
Yeah, I totally agree, and like, even though you were lacking in your sports knowledge, you did prove a good point, which is that it really just I can't, people are so easily moved by perception. And
speaking of fucking sports knowledge,
what was that?
Speaking of sports knowledge, Big Ten fucking football is back, baby.
There we go.
Okay, I'm finally
and so
back.
is Sam.
Yep, Sam is back too.
Yeah, there's something weird happening with your audio because like you kept talking as if like you couldn't hear us. I think.
Yeah, I couldn't, and then I couldn't hear anything, so I had to play around with my audio settings.
We're just bashing libertarians, so you joined at the right time. Oh, sorry, libertarians. They'll never be called libertarians because they're not serious.
Well, the only thing I was gonna say, I think you probably heard it, but libertarians should vote for Trump because he's the only president who has started no new wars, right? And
yeah,
that's
but
always
Sam,
that's not good enough.
He took bump
He's
stocks.
got to do more.
He's a status. He's an authoritarian.
What's with like fucking libertarians supporting Black Lives Matter too? It's like, do you not know these are in league with the Communist Party? And they're Marxists in name.
I figured it out. I actually figured it out because it is autistic, but there is like what?
That's why they support it. Thanks. If you took a list of people on the spectrum and you went and took a list of people who are libertarian, I'm sure there's gonna be a correlation involved. I'll do a fucking survey on that because I'm honestly like curious about this. I don't know if they fucking have this as a survey, but I'm sure if there was, you'd find some interesting results there.
Well, the thing I found is that, and this is the rabbit hole you had to like dive down to get to this like destination of libertarians supporting BLM, is that libertarians, what do they hate more than anything else? The state. They hate the state.
White people.
Baby, taxes too, yes, but they hate the state. And how does the state enforce its beliefs and policies and everything? Police. Why they hate police? Because police enforce things that they don't like drugs, drug laws.
Like these libertarians, they're like, we like our liberties, man. Like how many of your fucking liberties are you gonna have when these communists fucking take your shit over?
Exactly.
How many of those liberties do you think you're gonna get when Red China fucking starts moving and fucking putting their stamp on everything?
Well, see, Phil, that's a very complicated concept. Their brains have not fully developed yet. They haven't reached that age where they can think further down the road and see the bigger picture. And that is what's going to happen. But they see it as that, oh, cops are a part of the state. They are enforcing laws. They are controlling my life. They're restricting my freedom. So they hate cops. Libertarians hate cops. And also they're public. Keep in mind, they're public. They don't like public anything. They don't like public police. They want to get rid of it. Who else wants to get rid of the police? Insert Black Lives Matter, defund the police, abolish police. They're friends, dude. They have the same goal. One might be communist, and the other might be a bunch of idealistic children.
Fucking
But
Lord.
hey, they're the same thing.
I've heard libertarians say that they want to privatize the police force, and that just
Great.
and
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, they'll serve the people that can afford it. Yeah, that's nice.
yeah,
Mafia out there.
What was
yeah,
that?
They're getting the McMafia out there. The fucking
They'll be
McDonald's.
like, they're gonna come to a house to fucking rescue you from your fucking your domestic dispute, and then so they already fuck you over, and then they're gonna fuck you over again when you get the bill later on.
No, this is
Like,
gonna be like,
that'll be $5,000 for handling your domestic dispute. Yeah.
they're gonna be like, did you pay for the fucking like gold package over here? Oh, sorry, you only paid for
They're
bronze.
gonna let you get, and then if you don't pay it, then they're just gonna let you get raped after that. Like, oh
Sorry, rape
There-
isn't covered.
yeah,
there actually is actually like a really like fucked up science fiction book that like essentially that like actually realistically plays out like the libertarian utopia.
Great.
And it turns out that it's the exact opposite of what they think it is, which would be true. So
I did.
Yeah,
Oh, by
we'd
the
like-
way, so I can close this tab here. You know that article where it said that 12% of Gen Zers and millennials support Joe Jurgensen? Do you know why they grabbed that specific demographic? Because if you look at the poll, and if you look at it through a realistic lens, and look at all the voters and people that actually vote, not kids, Gen Z and millennials, who are way less likely to vote, which is always statistically true, and they're always way more likely to vote Democrat. If you look at all registered votes nationally, what's Jurgensen's number? Is it 12% still? No. Shockingly, it is. What was that?
1.2%.
No. That's the Green Party. They're at 2%. She's at 5%.
Oh.
That's interesting.
It's halfway to 10, double digits. We're
Yeah.
getting close there.
Yeah, she's still not gonna get a fucking. She's not gonna get a podium at the debate.
Yeah, but that's the two-party system holding her back, man. That's why she only has 5%,
Yeah.
man, because she can't debate, man.
That's
I-
'cause
wow.
nobody-
I just find it funny though, because like I know like you guys, you have your like specific things you're looking for with people, but like with them, it's like I just want to get on the fucking ballot. They're gonna spend all their money just trying to get on the fucking ballot, only to like lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like, it's like.
I've never seen a group try so hard to lose. Put so much effort into losing. And also, I'll mention real quick before you jump in, Phil. She's a woman, okay? So you would think, and the libertarians always push this like, oh, she's the only woman running for president. And so they think they're going to appeal to women. Well, spoiler alert, it's not working. Among her supporters, or among the genders, I should say. So 45% of men are voting for Trump, 42% Biden, and 55% women are voting for or almost said Hillary, same difference, are voting for Joe Biden. 37% are voting for Trump. Of the women, I should start with women. 4% are voting for Jurgensen. Of the men, 7% are voting for Jurgensen.
Yeah,
Women don't like her.
No one likes her.
no one likes her.
She's like that fucking like ugly girl, like in high school. It's just like it's like Meg. You're like a combination between like Meg and fucking who's Joe Exotic's nemesis? Fucking
Carol
Yeah.
Baskin, that bitch.
Yeah, but you guys realize that, and I'm sorry to get like off on a side tangent, but you realize the joke about Meg is that she's played by Mila Kunis, who's
Yep.
incredibly hot.
Yeah,
That's-
that is the joke. But
Yeah.
And to go back to the that stupid tweet she sent about like equity and like more freedom and shit. And I think this part of the poll is fairly accurate for most of it. It talks about like it asks people like what's their most important issue. Number one's the economy, 20%. Number two is the coronavirus, 13%. I bet that's very true. That to me is accurate. The coronavirus and the economy are on the top of people's minds. Number 3 is where things start to not make sense. Climate change. In September of 2020, the third most important issue on people's minds is climate change.
No one gives a like. Even right now, like I've not heard much from the climate change field because there's more important shit like coronavirus going on, and honestly, coronavirus is probably helping the fight against climate change. If you think about it,
yeah, there's less factories running.
People going to work, they get to work from home.
Less cars.
Yeah, it's like the libertarian, or not the libertarian, like the fucking leftist paradise. You get to stay at home, like masturbate, and get rewarded for it for not going out.
Now, number 4, which I think it's got to be higher in climate change, is healthcare, and then race relations. I think all of these got to be higher in fucking climate change. Jobs.
Well,
why is jobs on here? The economy is jobs, but yeah.
Well, you know why the I think I know why the environment is so high up on the list.
Why is that?
Where you living? So.
That's the NPR survey, right?
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Of course, it's going to be on an NPR survey.
But Phil, here's the reason why. Because these retards have somehow convinced people that the environmental hazards or whatever the fuck caused COVID.
Yeah.
So it's the fault of it's the fault of man-made climate change. That's what caused corona. Therefore, environment is number 3 or whatever. So
how many leaps does that have to go and take? Like, that fucking meme with like Charlie from It's Always Sunny with all those fucking like things on the wall and he's trying to go and link shit like conspiracy theory ones. Like, how many of those you had to go to get from like climate change causes? No. If anything, it's helping stop it because it doesn't like warm weather. Like, you'd have to jump through so many hoops to get to that. Like, I don't know. You'd be smoking some pretty good dope. I tell you what.
And the funny thing is like way back in March when this whole thing started, like when everyone was kind of like, okay, we can chill for about a month. Like all the environmentalists were like, this lockdown is actually a good thing because we're not out there polluting. Like, this could be really, really cool. And then once they realized that COVID wasn't actually going to go away, they were like, oh, it's all the climate change's fault. Boo.
Well, they did it all wrong. Like the shutdown was only supposed to be until the hospitals and the supply chains can change course to make sure that everybody gets like that hospitals and the supply chains are able to get their supply chains to their appropriate stuff more efficiently and to the right places or whatever, while and so that people aren't spreading it while that's happening. But after that, people should be get back to work. People should be getting back to their normal lives. Like you can't just shut down an economy for fucking weeks at a time, right? This is like you just can't fucking do that. That's part why we're having such a big problem that we're in. Well, obviously it's the fucking liberal states that are sandbagging this thing on purpose, but.
Now, though, to be fair, like some places, like I think Capital One, I think they started having their analysts go back to the office. But I think, some places they're keeping it safe. Like I know where I'm at, I'm still work from home until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm. But well, I mean, for the jobs and that and of course for those exceptions, if you can work remotely, then whatever, go ahead. Yeah, knock yourself out. But I'm saying for a lot of people that really can't do that, or they're in service industries or whatever, like, no, it's time to get the fuck back to work. Like, I mean,
I agree with that. Like, I've seen that, like most restaurants and stuff, they tend to be open. Like, even if it's just for takeout, but even most places I've seen around here, you can still dine in. They
Oh,
just
yeah.
make
No, I went to PF Chang's the other day. It was at 25% capacity, I think it was. So it
And
was
it's
like,
gonna be moved up to 50 soon. Like,
yeah.
I think it starts on Monday. You can do 50% capacity in a
Like, how is
restaurant.
this place? Yeah, I was eating in this place, and it was like there was a whole lot of empty seats. I was like, how is this place fucking making money?
Yeah.
Like,
Now there are a lot of shops here in like Florida where I'm at that are like in strip malls. So a lot of them are doing takeout only, and I think some of them are gonna have to remain that way because even though they're usually like sit down restaurants, there's no way that the way some of these places are laid out that you can do 6 feet apart. It's just not going to work.
I don't know
Yeah.
about that too, because that all you can eat buffet and they were open. You know, with, like the
you know what? A lot of the I mean the delivery apps have fucking made their dent in the market too.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
where you know
Oh,
you got Grubhub, DoorDash,
Uber Eats.
yeah. Like they've made it to where it's like, well, you don't really need to go out now anymore anyway. Like,
Well, here's the thing though, that you know those places like they're actually not making money. Those delivery apps, even during COVID, they're still losing
Yeah.
money because they're so inefficient. There was a pizza shop owner who found out a way that he could actually make money by ordering his own pizzas to himself because of
Amazing.
some sort of fucked up algorithm or something. Like it's the thing with those like tech companies, like they're just so backwards in some ways. They're funded by like millionaires' dreams of, you know, making a profit, but they're like, you know, if you go and take a look at them, they're bullshit. And that's why I think at some point there's gonna be a reckoning with a lot of these like Uber and stuff. Because like even Uber does, I don't even think they even make a profit. Like even when things were still going smoothly.
yeah.
Well, I am signed up for like Uber Eats, which has like, you know, the no delivery fees thing because
Dude,
like,
yeah, I got the DoorDash I got the DoorDash pass. And since I'm lazy, I fucking order from there all the time.
yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm just like, well, fuck it. I'm like, why even go out? Like, I'm just like, shit. I could get Chick-fil-A. I don't have to get in that fucking long ass double line to get my fucking spicy chicken sandwich. I could just order it from my app. I'm like, fuck
Oh.
yeah, I'll do that.
Oh wait, they
Have you-
they have Chick-fil-A.
Fuck yeah, DoorDash, hell yeah.
There's a Chick-fil-A in your area.
Oh man.
Well,
Yeah.
like, well, here's the thing with Chick-fil-A. Have you seen their new model that they've been doing? Like, if you actually been to an actual restaurant?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've been to the drive-through. Look, the drive-throughs, even though they're long as fuck, it's like real efficient. Like they have two lines. They got multiple people taking your orders. They got multiple people delivering. I mean, it's a very efficient drive-through. But I'm like, fuck that. You look at that line. I'm like, fuck that. I'm DoorDash.
I don't know. You don't have to use a drive-through. Though. You can go and park, and then you go and like at one of the numbered places, and they'll come and drop
Yeah,
you.
even that's a lot for me because then I got to get in my car and actually drive to the fucking place, man. That's like, nah, we're good. You can have a couple. It's a couple dollars. Like, look, I'm not.
Wait, so is Chick-fil-A letting you go in their stores? Is that what you're saying?
No. You just go and sit out in your car.
No, why would you fucking wait? That's like weird. Like, why? I'm just gonna drive to the Chick-fil-A to wait outside to wait for my food. Like, no, why just either go for the drive-through or just go the fuck home?
No, you just sit in your car and they come out to you. It's like a Sonic, you know.
Yeah.
They should just, you know, what they should go and do is they should go and bring back the girls with the roller skates.
Yeah, that would be like
That'd be
way
hot.
better.
Well, you ever seen that happen? That like Sonic? I don't know if you guys have Sonic near you. They still do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
We have a few Sonics, but like,
Well,
They don't. They're no longer on like roller skates.
Yeah,
like
I was
I know
gonna
they
say.
used to be on roller skates.
They are here.
yeah, well, yeah, because
Oh.
you're in Florida, Sam.
Florida, yeah.
the one in New York. I think roller skates unless they changed that
I'm
recently.
gonna Google this. I need to fact check this. Sonic
Yeah.
roller skates, not
No,
roller
No,
coaster.
I I know a manager up here. Like they're like, no, they don't do skates.
I
Beto
think
O'Rourke did them at the fucking where he did a skateboard.
Yeah, yeah.
coming up,
Never was I praying more that he would slip and break his neck. At that point.
What was he at? Like a jack? It wasn't a Jack in a Box. What was it? He was at it's a Texas like place or like
is that like the Whataburger or whatever?
yeah, Whataburger.
Checkers or some shit.
These fucking like hippies and shit from the West Coast. Oh, Whataburger or that other one. It's like, shut the fuck up. No one gives a shit.
What were you saying before
In and
when I
out.
was talking? Because your thing always gets all like sounds like you're underwater and I can't hear anything you say. But what were you saying before that?
I can't hear what you're saying. What about the roller skates?
Yeah, I was talking and you started talking. And it just and then I heard
Yeah.
Whataburger. Beto O'Rourke's an idiot. Blah blah blah.
Well, no, I said the Whataburger. It's everyone on like the fucking West Coast. He won't shut up about it. It's either Whataburger or the other one. Because there's like two of those.
Yeah, that's probably what you were saying. But yeah, what were you saying, Sam?
I was saying, Dictator Phillips needs to move back to Florida because he seems like a natural born Florida man in the best way possible. Second off, Beto O'Rourke would be on roller skates because he's that much of a fag, as Gavin would say.
He
So,
does fit that like
Look,
that just
I like-
like lame like milk toast white guy image. It's like, what are you doing?
oh,
Accurate.
yeah. Speaking of Gavin, Sean,
Uncle Gavin, my man.
do we want to discuss the new incoming internet war?
Oh, what's happening now?
Well,
Is this on his parlor or something, or did he say something on his show?
not not yet, but I think did I say? Okay, so long story short, Gavin on his show on Censor TV earlier this week, he was doing a segment about like the different types of right wingers out there,
Oh,
and
it was
he
that video I sent you then.
yeah, and he basically said Nick Fuentes is an okay guy and has some good points. Although he's a little obsessed, although the way he goes on about like penises and not being gay, it makes me think that, he might be. No
He
one
says
is
he's probably gay. Like he literally filed
Yeah,
stuff like,
yeah,
probably gay.
yeah, he said probably gay. He said no one I know is straight is that obsessed with with talking about how they want to get rid of the gays. So, and I guess
Has there been like a war brewing between the Groypers and Gavin now? Is that what you're saying?
well, the Groypers want to go after Gavin now.
Oh, Jesus. Fucking groypers.
That's what look, they have a lot of valid points on some things and they can make people think like, sure, fine. But
Well,
they do not know how to create a mainstream sustainable movement. Can they have some influence on mainstream politics? Maybe, yeah. They definitely do with Charlie Kirk. There's no doubt about it. But you do this, you just piss everyone off. Like, they're very puritanical, very culty, and it's pissing people off.
You know, the groypers remind me of the fucking, like if has anybody seen the movie Euro Trip?
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
movie.
Okay. The groypers remind me of the nude beach scene where the one chick tries to take her top off and a whole bunch of dudes are fucking flocking to that one chick. Those are the groypers. Those old dudes that are flooding to the chick. To me, those are the fucking groypers. That is exactly as an accurate statement as any.
Yeah, the Groypers also remind me of the the nihilists from The Big Lebowski. Have any of you seen the Big Lebowski?
The one friend that we know is Michelle Trachtenberg, except way less attractive.
Well, here's kind of what reminds me of the fucking Groypers. You know, they kind of remind the Libertarian Party. They just kind of spoil shit, and they're like fucking, you know, they get into their own particular ways. Because like the Libertarians, they can be puritanical too. Like, oh, you want to, so that's, you know, that's status. You can't have that. Oh,
driver's license.
Yeah, like they're the same sort of like, I don't know if you want to say like autism, you know, like that sort of like level of puritanical is autistic, something's there.
Well, the thing too is they are, you know, I've what was I? Shit, I was going down some rabbit holes like the other days, and I forget what I came to some sort of conclusion or revelation or something, but maybe I'll think of it. Sam, you go. I'm lost.
Well, I mean, I kind of came to a conclusion the other day too. Apex and I both did. I mean, people always make fun of Joe Rogan for saying that like tribalism is a bad thing, but like as time goes on more and more, I'm beginning to think he's right in the sense that like now there are so many puritanical fringe groups out there online, like the Groypers, like the Bears, like the libertarians out there, that, you know, we're the only way we're going to get stuff done, and I know it sounds like, you know, corny or whatever. But the only way we're actually gonna get stuff done is to actually have a dialogue with each other. And
I think those days are over.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. Like the left doesn't give a shit about dialogue.
Like just what the right.
Right.
And the Groypers aren't really big fans of fucking dialogue either. Like I don't know. They're like, oh, we want dialogue, and then they talk about their weird fucking positions or some shit. Like nobody's gonna talk to you when you talk that fucking weird. Like, stop.
I do think I kind of agree with you both, because I think Sam has a valid point, which is that maybe to unify the right, we need to, and I'm not saying, I'm being optimistic here, I'm not saying it's gonna work. Maybe we need to have more calm civil conversation amongst ourselves that kind of bring people together more and unify. I tend to think that's not going to work with some of these groups, because we've dealt with these Groyper types firsthand, and they're pretty set on their ways. They're pretty the pure, when you're that puritanical and you have these purity tests, there's no compromise. And when you're dealing with people that won't compromise with you, which is what libertarians are like and Groypers, I tend to think you're not going to get anywhere with them.
Oh, right. Believe me, Sean, believe me, I'm with you. I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're long past the days of dialoguing, unfortunately. I'm just saying that that's what needs to happen.
Maybe. Yeah. But I think too, and I remember my conclusion I reached, because they talk about all this like demographics or destiny thing. That's like their big thing. And like, that's nothing I've ever, like, that's not a new concept. They just repackaged it like a lot of things. Patrick Buchanan talked about this stuff a lot, like about the changing demographics of America. This is nothing new. Just they kind of discovered it and thought like, ooh, this is a big red pill secret that people are scared to talk about and they won't touch. But I've realized somebody made a good point about that, which is, even if it's true, saying it and promoting it and screaming it all the time doesn't help. It doesn't help build a conservative movement. It doesn't help bring minorities in, because it turns them off. That's the biggest problem with the demographics is destiny slogan, is that you're literally telling people, hey, we're fucked. Demographics are destiny. It's not going to matter. You know, it's you all vote this way and you all vote that way. And it's like, it's kind of an equal but opposite thing of what the left does. Because the left says, you know, they look at Joe Biden. If you don't vote for me, you ain't black. If, you know, they look at these groups as monoliths. But so does this fraction of the right. The Groypers, they look at them as monoliths. They don't look at them as free thinkers. That's not to say that there are groups that vote overwhelmingly Democrat or Republican. That's certainly true. But that doesn't mean you go around saying it all the time when you're trying to bring people in and change that. That kind of is counterproductive. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy by constantly thinking that way. It's not a winning mindset. It's a loser mindset.
It's a nihilistic attitude over here, and they don't
Yes.
propose. Well, no, they propose a solution to it, but it's something so fucking ridiculous, and something that will never happen unless we literally have another fucking Hitler over here.
The
And
ethno state.
that's why they advocate for that.
And not all of them. I mean, okay, I'm trying to be fair, because like the white nationalists, yes, they're all for the ethno state. The Groypers, I think there's some of them that do want one. I think most of them say, yeah, it's not going to happen, and so they want zero immigration. Which, again, even if that's what needs to happen, that doesn't appeal to moderates. That doesn't appeal to independents. That doesn't appeal to like most people.
And it's I hate to say it, but just because of the way the world is now with like technology and just like communication and whatnot, that would almost be impossible. I don't see how in the modern world it could happen.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing: if you want that to happen, you have to have a lot of other things change, or else, we wouldn't have Social Security anymore, which means a lot of old people would be fucked. So that's kind of where they're at. Like, you could theoretically do that, but it would
Do what
be
exactly?
to get rid of immigration. Like, theoretically that could happen, but you would have to go and change the declining birth rates. That's a whole other issue. Like, you'd have to create super natalistic policies to even hope to accomplish that.
I think the birth rate's probably the bigger issue.
The what?
I think birth rate is probably the bigger issue.
Yeah, that's what you'd have to do. And see if they want to go and say demographics is destiny. Okay, why aren't you guys making children? That should be the first
the argument
thing.
I make. Yep. And that's what that's why I always tell them, like, and they're like, oh, but I'm too young. And I'm like, do you have a girlfriend? Oh, but there are no quality women out there. Are you looking for them? Okay? Like, this is the thing. You gotta practice what you preach. Gavin brings that point up all the time. He's like, if you guys are all concerned about saving the West, have fucking babies. Have them. It's the easiest thing you can do. It's the most direct thing you can do. It's the most impactful thing you can do. But no.
Have you, on a side note, have any of you seen The More You Joe?
The More You Show.
You've not. Oh, okay. So you haven't seen it.
I see
Good,
it
so,
now.
Yeah. You see it.
Let's open this bitch up.
Yeah. Fucking hilarious.
I'm getting a Trump ad.
During World War II, Roosevelt came up with a thing that
Skip this. Oh, I can't skip the Trump ads.
No.
Interesting.
You should complain about that. Be like, bitch,
Yeah.
I work with you guys. Don't waste your money on me.
Oh man, COVID is taking this year, just since the outbreak, it's taken more than.
Oh, I see. They use that meme.
Oh man, you stop your boast about never being seen that what you can do anything. You always talk about your ability to negotiate.
Come on, man. Is he trying to be black when he does that? Is that what he's trying to do? Is he trying to act black?
Yeah, that's part of that was like,
Am I the
part
only
of
one
that
that's
when he
interpret
said
that way?
that was the, well, no, yeah, part of that was like that, the come on man, where he does that. That was off of the Charlemagne interview.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he was trying to,
But he
I-
says it a lot.
appeal. Yeah,
Yeah, he says that a lot. I'm not sure if that's because he's trying to. I mean, I'm not giving him. I'm not defending him, but kind of like in the '60s beatnik, generation where everyone said, come on, man, a lot,
Oh,
or
man. Well, he
or-
has those
or-
like boomerisms. Like, I'm not saying that in a negative way, but you notice how he speaks. Like, he uses terms and references that I'm just like, and it's not like I don't know a lot of these things like I do, but I look at him like, dude, nobody knows what you're talking about. Nobody says that anymore. Like,
oh my God, have you seen the interview with him and Cardi B?
oh God. Alex, I had the same reaction. I haven't seen it, but I heard about it. I know Candace and Cardi got in a little cat fight, which was great.
No, there was a Joe Biden did an Cardi B interviewed Joe Biden, and it's the worst, and it's the worst thing. I mean, it's hilarious, but like for all the wrong reasons. Because like he's talking like the civil rights movement and like Bull Connor, and when the dogs were getting we're getting sick on the blacks, and she like has no idea what he's talking about, and then she's talking at like her thing, and he has no idea what she's talking about. So
actually, speaking of Joe Biden, one thing I was thinking about because I was having a little discussion with people in the Turning Point group chat a few days ago about Biden's racist comments. And, I don't buy the argument at all that I've seen from some people that this is a sign of his dementia. I think there's a lot of things Biden has said and done that show signs of his declining age. The racist shit has nothing to do with his age. Nothing. Well,
Oh, no,
it does, but not like age decline.
not at all.
Yeah, because he said this. There's a pattern of him saying this shit over many years. You can go back to the 7-Eleven.
A lot of the case, like you look at and a lot of it is it affects the ability to filter some of the shit that is in your brain that you keep from saying. Like, you have a whole bunch of fucked up shit in your head that you would say had you not had a filter. Well, that dementia probably takes out the filter, and now you're left saying a whole bunch of stuff like that. Like, if he says a bunch of racist shit, that's probably what the fuck he actually means. He's just been holding it in for fucking years.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I thought is that, this is, to me, whenever I hear Biden make a racist comment, it's the mask slipping. It's his true colors, no pun intended, showing of, I really think he is actually a mean, grumpy, old racist. Like the stereotypical, like, it's like Clint Eastwood in El Camino. Like,
it's like the guy. It's like the guy. It's like the guy who's with this chick, and he's like all this gentleman and very chivalrous and all that stuff, and then he gets drunk and then says, "Oh, I just want to eat her ass" and all that shit. Like, no, that's the guy, right? That's the real guy, the chivalrous guy. That's the guy that's pulling the front, right? The dude that had a couple of drinks and said, "Oh, I want to bang her in the ass and I want to eat it." Like, no, that's the real dude. Okay, that's the real guy.
Yeah, and I think with him, it's like he is probably like behind the scenes. He probably makes a lot of racist little comments. Like he's the type of guy that that still calls black people only the N-word. You know, like he's like from straight out of the Jim Crow South. He doesn't say like, you know, like that effing black person. Like when he like cusses out like a black guy, like, he would literally say that effing N-word, and he would say it like all the time. Like he probably has to force himself to say people of color, as the Democratic Party says now.
So was Hillary Clinton. So was Hillary Clinton though. I mean, back in the 90s when the Clintons wrote that crime bill, Biden used the term super predator, you know, and
well, yeah, the Clintons are a bunch of Arkansas super racists. So
absolutely.
Yeah,
right, but what I'm saying is I don't even
motherfuckers
I don't even think the dementia was part of it, because you can go back, you can like Google like C-SPAN footage from like the early 90s, like 91, 92, and see Biden saying really racist. One thing I've always wondered, and one thing I want to ask your question is, what do you think Biden actually thought of Obama? Because I get the feeling that like they didn't actually like each other.
I don't think they did. I think the whole Biden Obama bromance thing was just a meme, a forced meme. I don't think it really was there. I think it was just doing. I think he was just doing it to.
I don't think any of them really. I don't think any of them really like each other. I think it's all just like, what can I use him for, or what can I use her for?
Yeah.
Like it's all about like gaining power and gaining, you know, money and fame and all that shit. Like I don't think any of them really give a shit about any of them.
With the exception of, I will say, I do think, and I was a bit surprised.
Trump and Pence.
I generally think that Trump. And I didn't think that they would like each other. I thought that.
I think I was talking about Democrats specifically. Now the Republicans, there's probably a little bit more connection because, you know, conservatives have that, you know, have some Christian values. Not everybody follows them to the letter, but you know, there's some sort of like Christian faith. Like, you know, be good to, you know, treat others as you should want to be treated, you know, like there's stuff to kind of tie into there, you know, so there's probably more of a connection with some of these politicians on the right than there are on the left. No, the left they're all a bunch of crooked fucks, man. They're all about themselves.
There is more on the right, but there is more connectivity on the right. But I mean, let's face it, we've all been to political conventions. We've all seen, you know, how the after parties go. Not everyone on the conservative side gets along with each other.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think the majority of the right probably don't like each other either, but like there's probably more connect. I don't think that really any of the fucking left like each other. I'm saying at least there's probably a couple people on the right that do kind of like each other, especially now. I think there's a lot of never Trumpers still in the Republican Party. Like there's still a fairly decent chunk of never Trumpers, and you know, you got your small base that like are fucking, you know, that are lock in step with Trump. Those are like the real ones.
But Rush actually called out Bill Kristol again.
Fuck that guy. Bill Kristol.
Why do people even still call this asshole Republican?
Yeah.
Like what the fuck? He's as fake as it gets.
That was what Rush said on his radio show, and then I guess Bill fired back on Twitter and said something like, "You're lucky you have cancer."
Ooh, that's fucked.
Jeez. That's like no. He's like I hate when these so-called Republicans are saying, "Oh, I'm a Republican, but I can't stand with Trump or anybody that sides with Trump." So you're not a Republican. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Not only that, but Bill Kristol's dad was a Bolshevik communist, or his grandfather or someone. And I mean, I'm sorry, but do you think the apple really falls far from the tree in regards to that?
No.
So,
I don't think I don't think it's hard for him. I don't think it's as hard for him to grift from one side to the other as it is for some of these other conservatives.
of course not.
Well, and the thing too is like I'll actually bring up some anecdotes from today. When I was outdoor knocking, I was in this like area of like older people, and there was this one dude's door I knocked on. He answers that and he goes, "I have voted Republican my whole life, but I cannot vote for Donald Trump." I wanted to say, "So you're not a Republican then?" But I actually said, "Well, why is that?" He goes, "He just lies all the time. I don't think that man can tell the truth." And I'm like, I'm shaking my head internally and I'm thinking,
He watched the fucking commercial, didn't he? He
dude,
watched a Biden commercial,
dude,
and that's probably what happened.
I'm not making
Here, how many Republicans fucking or not Republicans, politicians?
politicians.
What the
Yeah.
fuck do you think? You know, the Democrats never lie. Obama
That's
never.
all it is.
You
And
know,
you notice how you ever see the fucking great point, Alex? You ever see a fucking Biden commercial? Like, and it's just like, and they're trying to attack Trump and they don't have any real substance. So then they just aim baseless shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's
oh,
just
he
like
lies.
baseless, vague shit. And I'm like, dude, like anybody who understands anything about anything political can read through that shit and quick.
Well, and the thing too was, and this is what I was trying to connect that with, was that on the flip side of that, I can't tell you how many fucking people have called the office or even stepped into it and they've said, I just saw a Biden ad and he said that Trump wants to get rid of Social Security. Is that true? And I'm like,
has he gotten rid of it at all?
He
in
hasn't
fucking 3 years
a penny.
Right.
And he never will because it's the stupidest thing ever. And I'm like, I want to say, like, do you honestly believe that? Do you believe
I think eventually.
that?
So I think eventually we should privatize it, but I don't think he's gonna. I don't think Trump's gonna do it. I don't think he's. I think it's too. It doesn't make enough sense right now to do anything that ridiculous yet.
Well,
but
the
yeah,
thing is,
I think,
like, these are Republicans that are believing Biden ads, supposed Republicans. I'm like, what? Why are you believing what's in a campaign ad to begin with? But it's like, it's mind-boggling. And this dude, like that I knocked on, that said Trump lies all the time. I asked him, I'm like, okay, like, because we obviously weren't gonna agree that he lies or doesn't lie or anything like that. So I said, do you like his actions? Do you like the tax cuts? Do you like the wall being built? Do you like the jobs being brought back? Do you like the trade deals? Do you like the this and that? And he goes, no, I don't like the action. I don't like how he handled the coronavirus. And he went off on that. Never went anywhere.
Biden ad. Yep.
It's like I just don't get these people. And these never Trumpers need to go. I'm sorry, we need to get them out of the party. I don't even care. They could vote Democrat for all I care. I just don't want them in the party anymore. I do not want these people anywhere near it.
I hate seeing those people that said that they voted for, on the ads that said they voted for Trump. And they're like, I don't like how he handled the coronavirus. Like,
they find like 5 people in all of America that vote Trump once and aren't voting for him again.
Like, dude, this guy handled it about as well as any leader could have possibly handled this fucking coronavirus. And in fact, he's not only that, he is literally, they're like, oh, well, he should have had a plan. he literally named it Operation Warp Speed, you dumb shit. Like, he literally named it Operation Warp Speed. You know that thing where he's got like 8 fucking companies battling to make a fucking vaccine at record speed, right? Which is, he's blowing away, it's blowing away all expectations, right?
Well, in regards to the whole argument of, oh, Trump should have had a plan for this. I mean, even Rogan pointed out that no one could have planned for.
Nobody, but he did it. He literally, like, he made shit happen, like big shit happen. When this whole thing was going down, within weeks, he had the top CEOs coming out and going, look, we're working on shit, we're working on masks, we're working on ventilators, we're working on, and like, look, he had the whole thing going, right? He had the whole thing going. We've made more fucking ventilators than you could possibly have. We've made a shit ton of masks and gloves and PPE. We made it all year. We're making record time with these fucking with the fucking vaccine. We got 8 different companies working on this fucking vaccine, by the way, and different types of the vaccine. So if one doesn't work for you, maybe 2 or 3 others might. And like, not only that, the eight companies that are going to be building this vaccine are going to drive that fucking price down to where it's going to be reasonably affordable. And it's like, these people just don't fucking understand how not only creating a plan, but actually implementing this plan works. And he did both of those things, and both of those things incredibly well. I just, like, it boggles my mind to hear people say, he didn't have a plan for this coronavirus mess. And like, no, he had it, and it was great. And I'm sorry. Could it have been better? I don't know if it could have been, because, you know, nobody dealt.
And it doesn't matter.
Nobody dealt with the kind of shit that we had to deal with, just because, like, in terms of the coronavirus spreading the way it did, right? You know, the states that were basically sandbagging their own shit. Like, we had issues in our country that I don't think any other country in the world had logistically. Like, it was just terrible. Like, we weren't expecting New York to completely sandbag itself. And then, like, yeah, I mean, really, like, they sandbagged themselves. They put the COVID patients in with the fucking elderly patients and killed them off at a fucking rapid pace. Of course, fucking the numbers were going to balloon all up to fuck.
And the other thing too is that, and I don't think we talked about keys last time. Might need to touch on that, but
God.
Yeah, I know. It's blah. But the other thing too with the virus handling is that when anybody that says Trump could have done this, he could have done that, he should have done this, he could have done this better, it is the dumbest take of any of these, because you are in hindsight, you are looking at what happened, what the results were, and all this shit. Nobody, look, when we were in the, don't we, like, remember, like, let's wind the clocks back like a couple fucking months. We were all in the cloud of war, or the fog of war. Nobody knew anything, okay? These people that always criticize him for these things have never been in a management or a risk management position in their life. And you know that when you're in those positions, you're basically guessing on what you're doing. You're taking all the information you have and you're guessing, because that's what management is. You're thrown a problem, and you have to do with the information you have. You have to make the best decision. The dumbest take I'm hearing now is about the lockdowns. You're getting people saying these studies will come out, like these new studies that will come out and say, like, oh, you know, locking down actually doesn't help. Like, let's say that's what the study says. They'll go, well, see, we didn't need to lock down for 15 days. Why did we do that? And I'm like, maybe it's because we had no fucking clue what to do, and it seemed like the best idea, and it was at the time. It's such a dumb take. That it triggers me every time I see
like,
those things.
yeah,
When
you
new
see Joe
information
Biden-
is presented, and they're like, "Oh, so we shouldn't have done it then." No. So dumb. Sorry,
Yeah.
triggered me.
Yeah.
Also, cuties. Did anybody notice there's actually a significant number of people canceling their Netflix subscriptions over this?
Yep.
Like, this is
Yep.
a legitimate boycott.
But here's the thing. I'm not. Okay, so I have a bit of mixed emotions about this because I don't necessarily know if a boycott of Netflix entirely is necessary, because Netflix does have like really good does have like some decent programming on it, like Cobra Kai, for example, is completely anti
That was YouTube.
SJW.
That was YouTube first.
Okay,
YouTube created that
yeah, I know that, and that, but you know, still, that's actually anti SJW, you know, anti like stuff that Netflix has. So, you know, to be fair, they are a little more diverse. So I would think that like just like mass downvoting would like, I don't know. Like I still have my account, and I haven't seen like any promotions for or anything like that. So I
You don't
guess,
think it's your type of programming?
well, I like I haven't gone and sought it out, but like but like I guess what I'm trying to say is that like I just I don't see it, like I don't see on any of my sections, and like the way some of these articles were like, you know, pointing out, it was like cuties was going to be in your face all the time. So
No, well, I don't know if that's what they were saying necessarily, but I think what people were trying to say is like, this is like a way that pedophilia or the sexualization of children can be normalized because it's on a platform that is in your face all the time, which is Netflix. According to Antenna, Netflix saw 5 times the number of cancellations in subscriptions over the past 5 days compared to the previous 30 days. That's significant. Now, is it lasting? Is it a significant long-term impact? That's still to be seen, but that's good.
I mean, no,
is
I just
finally
think
people speaking with their
boycotts.
dollars.
I'm sorry. I think boycotts are retarded. I do.
yeah,
I'm not like look, really like if Netflix gave a shit about conservatives dropping their fucking Netflix subscriptions, they wouldn't have put that shit on their platform to start out with. And two, you like your fucking $9.99 a month subscription, or your $9.99 a year subscription is going to take down their $33 billion platform. The fuck out of here, man.
Exactly, and that's my whole that's my whole argument, Phil. Because I'm glad you brought that up, and they're like, oh well, you're making excuses for and I'm like, no, I'm not making excuses, but at the same time, just because I don't you know, just because I don't support what they're doing with the foreign films section, doesn't mean I'm going to stop watching the programs I still do like. You know,
I don't think enough people are going to cancel for that very reason.
Yeah.
But this is a little different. This isn't conservative versus liberal. This is more crossing those boundaries. Because you even see like a lot of normies and a lot of lefties are like, yeah, this is fucked up.
True.
Yeah. Well, it's diversity. It's diversity, you know, it's a diversity of the quality product that is Netflix, right? You know, you got your comedies, you know, for us, you know, you got your comedies and your dramas and your suspense, and your documentaries, and then for the liberals, you have your kiddie porn. It's very it's a diversity.
Oh my god, how cuties got caught in a Gamergate style internet clash. How is that Gamergate style? But it's
Perverts.
well, see, here's the thing too, is like they obviously were worried about this hurting them because they changed the poster, they changed the advertising.
I mean, look, like it did not look good.
No, it
like
didn't.
that poster looked disgusting as fuck. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, I think though what Netflix should be worried about is.
But Disney does that shit all the time too. They have the little kids series and shit like that where they sexualize those fucking children and shit, man. They're a bunch of dirty fucks over there too.
Oh yeah. Well, I think when Netflix is, I think that they should be more worried about subscription cancellations now because they actually have lots of competition now. Before, like 5 years ago, it was like Netflix and kind of Hulu.
Yeah, if you're trying to do Netflix, if you're trying to do kiddie porn, I think Disney Plus is gonna give you a run for your money on that one.
Yes.
Geez, Phil.
Speaking of, Mandalorian season 2 trailers out now.
I still have to finish the first one.
You still haven't finished the first season? Come on, man.
To Disney Plus.
The feminists hate the Mandalorian.
They do, and it's for the dumbest reason too. Did you see their like reasoning?
Because as a baby in it, and they hate.
Oh no, I heard it's because they thought one of the people in the trailer was like not who they thought it was someone that actually wasn't.
Okay. No, I hadn't heard that, but like I know that like in the first season they hated the fact that like they were actually showing, like a strong, like competent man.
Look, I don't care about any of that. I'm just glad Big Ten football's back.
I thought you were trying to do a lesbian voice right there for a second, the way your voice went. You're like, oh, the way that Big Ten football.
Get over here, bitch. Get over, bitch. Get over here, bitch. I want to eat your snatch.
Oh,
no, no, I want no, I'm glad the Big Ten football's back. Like it's look. Okay, first off, there's no reason to not have college football. I'm sorry. And two, the Big Ten and the Pac-12 were the only two conferences of the Big Five that weren't gonna play, right? That decided they weren't gonna play. And I think part of the conversation was starting to get political too, because
always
Biden
does.
Well, yeah, because the Big Ten has some real big swing states in Michigan, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Biden was about to run an ad campaign in those three states, basically blaming Trump for not having Big Ten football. Right? He was gonna try to blame Trump for that shit. And of course, Trump was like, "Nah, we're not playing that fucking game." So he went to the Big Ten commissioner and basically had a talk. And within like a week, he was like, "Oh, Big Ten's gonna be back, and it's gonna be back in October." So, yeah.
Oh, speaking of the virus. Oh, sorry. What was that?
What's up?
Oh, wrap up what you were saying.
No. So I mean, it's like you're not. Like, it was a widely unpopular decision too, because it's like these kids have worked their entire fucking lives to get. They got into college via football. They're trying to make it to the pros. They're trying to build a life for themselves. And these families have invested in these kids, and there's a lot riding on these kids getting making this football season happen. So and if all these other conferences are doing it, there's no fucking reason why you shouldn't be doing it. So like, kudos to Trump for helping make that happen, even though he won't get credit for it. Yeah, kudos to him. Anyway, what were you gonna say, Saul?
I just saw a story of something that happened today, of like one of these Karens. Did you mention coronavirus, which reminded me of masks, which reminded me of Karens. Even though this doesn't have anything to do with coronavirus, but it shows you like it reminded me of, it relates to something that did happen. You'll probably figure it out, but when we were door knocking, we were like going down a driveway, and this one lady, I keep hearing this and it drives me nuts. She goes, "Don't you need a permit to be soliciting in here? Do you have a permit?" And I'm like, "No, we don't need one." She's like, "But you're soliciting." We're not soliciting, we're canvassing. We're not selling anything. But don't you, I still think you need a, oh, this was my favorite line. She goes, "I say you need a permit." And I go, "I said the law says otherwise, ma'am."
Tell her to call the fucking cops.
I thought she actually was going to.
You need a permit. You need a permit to come see me, you little bitch.
I'll give you a permit, little lady. But it's like, I love that.
I love
like,
it when you talk dirty to me.
She was like, she had that like vibe of like some like crazy like raunchy cat lady, like older, but like, dude, that was like the most ignorant shit when she goes, "I think you." I forgot how she worded it. It was like, it was either like, "I think you need a permit," or like, yeah, I think that's how she said it. She was like, "Well, I think you need a permit," or "I think you should have a permit." And I'm like, the law says I don't need one. Okay. It's like, she thinks her view trumps the law. I'm like, okay. And then she was with this other lady she was talking with, and she goes, it's this, you didn't really pick a good day to do this, to go canvassing." I'm like, it's a beautiful day. The sun's out. It's cool. Like, it's a beautiful day. She goes,
"It's a terrible day for canvassing. I have so much I gotta do. I've got to cash my Social Security check, and I gotta get my prune juice. Okay, I don't have time for this shit."
Well, we didn't even knock on her door. She was just like standing there.
Jesus, Phil.
She's like staring at you with her beady fucking eyes out of her window in her apartment.
Well, it was like this like one woman talking to another. Like, it was like two Karens having a conversation, like at the end of like on a walkway, and then when they saw us, they just had to say something. And the other one, like when she said it wasn't a good day, she just goes, I'm like, she's like, "Well, it's just," she's like, "No, it's not a good day." And I'm like, why? I knew what she was talking about, but I just wanted her to say it. I just really wanted her to say it, to like really realize that how silly she sounds.
You don't even want to be in my apartment anyway. It smells like mothballs and death.
Well, funny you say that, is because she literally told us like, "Don't come to my door."
You're like, "Oh, I will, bitch."
Well,
I do it and then cough too.
Yeah.
Fuck you, man. God damn, my cough.
Oh, something
Holy
just got
shit.
caught in my throat. Oh, hairball. No, she wasn't even on our like list to like knock on, but she kept going on about how it wasn't a good day to knock. I asked her, I'm like, why? And she goes, "Oh, she's like, "Yeah, well, you should figure that out." And I'm like, bitch. The reason she was saying that was because of RGB dying. Or RBG. RGB. Fuck. Ruth Bader. Okay, that's RBG. RGB is the color shit. Red, green, blue.
You're thinking RPG role playing game?
Yeah. No, I was not. I'm not that nerdy, Phil. I am nerdy, but not that nerdy. Get it right. Get your privilege in line and know that I'm not that nerdy. Not all the time. Not when
I
I'm
made
canvassing.
I made a fairly inaccurate mistake. My bad.
A fairly inaccurate mistake. No, it's
Hey,
Yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna say, since Phil is so excited about Big Ten football coming back, I want to let Phil and you guys know that I'm starting a new hashtag.
What is it?
Because even though the NFL is retarded, there are still the NFL cheerleading squads that need our attention. So
Well, we can give
I've
them a lot of attention.
I have started the hashtag Save the NFL Cheerleaders. So
Yes.
because
Yeah, I know, right? They're fucking. They're starting. I think so. I think there's a couple of them that are starting to add male cheerleaders now too. Like,
because the feminists want to get rid of them in general. They've really been trying to go after the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders for years because
Hmm.
Yeah.
Funny how they picked Texas. But what I was saying though, to wrap up the
yeah,
story though, real
be
quick.
aggressive. Be aggressive. Like, no, keep your aggressive balls away from me. No, thank you. But
All right. Well, you want to watch some like nice, hot, sweaty men, Phil, like dancing in front of you?
yes, bring them on, silly buns.
I'm sorry. I didn't know that Jeff Hamill was in here.
Jesus
So
Christ.
Star Wars. Give
Wow,
it
you try to
up.
start Shiv Jeff again.
I-
You attacking his sexual identity. You bigot.
Stop it. Stop it, you faggot basher.
I just want Jeff and Phil to debate like they said they were.
I am always, I'm always down. I don't give a shit. Like, I'm always down to talk to anybody.
Jeff did the it's not a good day excuse for
Yeah,
the
he's,
last time.
Oh,
that's-
somebody else is
those are
talking
like
about not being a
traditional.
good day.
Those are traditional liberal people. They're like, oh, they're like, oh, they're like, oh, I'll debate this guy, and then when it's actually time to do it, it's like, oh, I just, you know what, I'm too good for him, or I'm too good for, or maybe I'm not in the mood. I have other things going on, and he's not worth my time.
Can we reschedule? Can we take a rain check?
Please do.
Sure.
Well, and the thing
Sure.
too is like that's like what those Karens were saying to me, like, oh, this is not a good day to be canvassing. They were saying that because they think because this is the day after Ruth Bader Ginsburg died, it's inappropriate for me to go out there and campaign for Trump, the enemy of feminism and Ruth Bader Ginsburg and all that shit. So they see it as inappropriate. And I do remember the line out that they said to me. It was when I said that we're not soliciting, we're canvassing, we're not selling anything. The lady said to me, she goes, well, to me, you're soliciting. Or to me, that's soliciting. And I said to her, no, the law says it's not. To the law, it's not. Fucking people.
Damn it, if you're gonna solicit me, at least solicit me with some QVC products or something.
And some CVS coupons.
I've got a couple coupons in my purse.
She had that kind of voice. Like she wasn't like she was like a middle class, like well off lady, but like she was just such a Karen. She was just like had to make such a big deal over it. I'm like, what are you gonna do? Call the police on me? Which has happened to me twice, but funny shit. Like I love that. Just the arrogance. Like, oh, it's soliciting to me. Well, your opinion doesn't matter, okay?
Yeah, like I saw a Biden ad that said he was trying to take my Social Security. How am I going to pay for my male prostitutes?
Oh man, it's fucking crazy. Is there anything else we want to talk about?
You're
before we-
fucking with my Chippendales money. Don't you dare.
What about that like Penn State dude who was bitching about working at the dining commons?
Yeah, speaking of Karens, oh man, we need a new voice for this fucker. This guy is getting his 15 minutes of fame, which is really what this is about. Like, let's be honest. Like when you see his Twitter, Like it's fucking like cloudy. Student alleges Penn State dining exploited and failed student employees. Wow, that's a very vague headline right there. And when you read it, he says about, because like this is to me where like the crux of it was, like this was like the lead, or was supposed to be the lead here, is how Penn State like basically didn't care about the coronavirus. You know, it was being unsafe with the coronavirus. And he goes on, because he alleges, this is like his allegation, okay? It's like pretty rich. He goes like, oh, where is it? He says, the alleged campus dining hasn't given his employees hazard pay, didn't provide regular semester raises, and has, quote, had, quote, lack of adequate safety protocols. Okay, lack of adequate safety protocols. I'm thinking, well, what did they do? Were they not wearing masks?
Okay, so I'm going to side against everything that I see as holy, okay? I'm actually going to defend the school on this one. Okay?
I am too.
I know. Look, I know I'm gonna get some hate mail for this one, but fuck it.
Well, he says that like they lacked adequate safety protocols, so I'm thinking like,
Right.
oh, were they not wearing masks? Were they coughing on people? Were they sneezing on the food? Were they not cleaning things? I scroll down, and what's his first claim? What's his first bit of evidence for this claim here? Hernandez wrote that managers think the coronavirus is, quote, dramatized, unquote, and then believes masks are stupid. That's it.
No,
Fucking believe they're allowed to have opinions, aren't they?
yeah,
No,
I
they're
mean,
not. They're not allowed to say that, apparently, even though he goes on to say, he
most of
says that
these
they wore
schools-
masks. He mentioned that while all managers wear masks when they're around food, their thoughts and feelings about matters. What kind of this is a non-story story. This is a
Yeah.
nothing burger.
Well,
and even if you tried to make it a story, it's like, okay, most of these schools actually did did reasonable in their, coronavirus shit, right? That tried to make, some sort of protocols or whatever, but you can't make them too aggressive, because there's no real way to control it, because there's so many kids that are going in and out of campus. Like, you're not going to be able to do that. And even if you could, let's just say, even in a perfect world, even if you could, we're able to do that shit, right? You can't, you're not going to be able, it's not going to do a whole bunch of good when there's going to be parties where dudes are having keg stands with a beer bong hanging out of their ass. Okay. When you have that shit going on at dorm parties and shit, there's not a whole lot of fucking safety protocols that are going to be followed. Like, you gotta be real with the situation here.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever, because it's like he's literally mad. Like, he's triggered over some different opinions that literally I think a lot of people frankly agree with. Like, yeah, this virus is being dramatized. Are masks stupid? Well, that can be debated. I mean, okay, cool. But it's not like they're like protesting and not wearing masks or something and breaking university policy on this. Like, he even admits that they're wearing them. I'm like, so you just don't like their opinions on it? Well, get over it. Or maybe persuade them.
Do you see what else he was bitching about? Like, they said that he was too feminine to go and like clean floors. Like, one, I wouldn't be bitching about not cleaning floors. No one likes to do that. Two, like, that's fucking funny. We have some soy boy over here like David Tuck. You know, he's going over here bitching on Reddit. I'm pretty sure he's on the fucking Penn State.
It was on Twitter. It was on Twitter. He made this like thread.
He seems like that type of person to be on the subreddit. Though. Like, let's be real. All they do is like, oh no, the coronavirus is coming. We're gonna shut down school within the first week, or no, it's gonna be the fourth week. Like, they're just such a bunch of fucking pansies. But like, this guy just seems like such a fucking beta soy boy. He's like, oh, they didn't give us raises. I'm like, okay, dude. When I was at the fucking creamery, I didn't get a single raise. Like, honestly, like
You work at a college. Get the fuck out of my face with that shit. Like,
Well,
are you kidding me?
Two, like a lot of places, you know, one, many places aren't giving out raises. Two, especially like a low low skill, like temporary college job. You know, what do you expect, especially during coronavirus? Even faculty aren't getting raises right now. You think you're fucking special, and he thinks he deserves hazard pay too. Like, dude, you're not working in like fucking Iraq. You're not working in, like a fucking like on a Highline Bowl or anything like that. You're making fucking food. You're cleaning out like a fucking tray of food or whatever. Like, dude, you're not in hazard. You're wearing a fucking mask. What do you expect? Do you think students should get hazard pay for going to college? I bet he fucking does. Like this guy seems like a fucking Bernie.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, you weren't asking me.
Yeah, he seems like such a little bitch. Like he's going on about to like okay again. Why does he put those fucking asterisks in Pollock? I still don't get that. The O's in Pollock are asterisks. Can anybody explain that?
Maybe he thinks it sounds like Polak.
Is it like anti-Polish? Like a Polish slur, like you're a Polak?
Which, like, I've never heard anyone, like, sing Pollock. Like, that's, chicken Pollock, like, El Polo Loco. I don't know what the fuck this guy...
And to be fair, look, I think you're at much greater risk with some of these sorority thoughts giving you gonorrhea than you are getting coronavirus.
Yes.
Okay, let's be real.
Preach. Did you see what's in his Twitter bio too?
Was it like he or like?
No,
pronouns right.
I'm surprised that's not there. It has a is that the? Fuck, I forget that flag. I'm sorry, I'm having a brain fart. But it just says geographer and then Penn State.
Fucking geography major, man.
We have a geographer here, folks.
I'm a geography major, and I need to be taken seriously.
Yeah, good luck, buddy, on that one.
They can't make money though. I had a roommate of mine who was a geography major, and like they pay you a lot of money if you go into fucking oil wells and stuff. But just judging by this guy's like soy boy appearance allegedly and his political leanings, I doubt he's gonna sell out. Quote unquote, sell out and go to the oil rigs.
And he says too, right here. This is the best part. Hashtag we are essential to Pollock. And this time he doesn't censor Pollock dining comments, but Pollock is not essential to me. It sounds like you don't even care about where you work, sir, and you don't actually give a shit, and you complain about other people talking shit, and here are you talking shit.
And he's a bitch when he gets fired for like shit talking his workplace too. I bet that's what's going to be next.
Oh yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't been fired.
Follow up to the story, soy boy, kicked out of fucking Pollock because he can't stand working there. And
the choice to have students on campus places dining commons work. Wait, this is a confusing sentence attempt. On campus places dining commons, workers at an increased risk of exposure to corona. Well, it's your fucking job, dude. And you are protected, and they did limit people that could come in, and like you could order like shit and then pick it up. Like this guy's such a bitch. Like, quit your job, okay? You don't like it, quit, okay? That'll make a statement, an actual statement, because it's action. And maybe they might change their policies if, like, all their employees, like, quit or something. This isn't good. Like, bitching on Twitter is going to get you 5 seconds of fame in the Collusion. You're going to get a few followers on Twitter, and you're going to get a few likes. And, yeah, now your dopamine's happy.
Yeah, now he's going to be unemployed, too. Because, like, to be fair, though, honestly, like, out of all the campus, like, food services, like, that's what I loved about the Creamy. You didn't get paid as much, but it was so much easier, to be fair. Because, like, I did hear, like, but that was back in the day, too, when you actually had to deal with, like, the fucking, normal people, like, all-you-can-eat buffets and shit. But, I think they gave you, like, a pretty decent discount if you wanted to buy food from there. So, like, I was actually torn when I was first applying, but I was happy working at the Creamery. Like, if I lived on campus, maybe things would be different. But like, man, I did not want to work in the dining commons because I don't think they it was as laid back as the Creamery. Not the Creamery was super laid back. Like, there's times football games and shit when it get pretty busy. But
he says that personally, I've worked at Pollock. He's brought back the fucking asterisks. since freshman year and make less than people who have worked there for a shorter amount of time than me. Must be racism.
They do that, like, dude, when I was as a fucking lifeguard, that happened to me too. You need to go negotiate.
Yeah.
Negotiate or find another job. You know, shit happens. Like, I've had I've had that happen at my job before too, you know. You need to fucking stand up for yourself. You can't be a little soy boy and just expect to raise.
Yeah.
Reason why you're not getting paid more. You know,
All I should just have to show up, and then I should just get everything.
Pretty much.
That's how it should work.
such a fucking entitled bitch.
And it continues, also, some of the managers, so now he's saying it's multiple people, think wearing masks is stupid. It's R. This guy's grammar. He needs to fucking go, like, get an English degree. Because then
that's why
maybe
he's not getting fucking raised, because he sounds like a Neanderthal over there.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to conjugate verbs. Wearing masks is stupid and Corona's dramatized. Just so you know who is in charge of your food. Yeah, but everybody's wearing masks. It doesn't matter what their opinions are. What matters is the action. Is this whistleblowing? Yeah,
No.
but that doesn't... No, this is bitching. This isn't whistleblowing.
Like, they're not breaking any laws. Like, the only thing that's objectionable that could get anyone in trouble is the alleged incident when he was a freshman that someone said that he was, like, too feminine to go and mop the floors, which is funny, but, you know, that's the only thing I could see any sort of thing coming from there.
Also, what kind of fucking, like, statement is that? First of all, it's funny. Second of all, it's like, who would seriously say that?
He must be like a soy boy. Yes, he's like a super fucking soy boy. But, you know, I could see this guy pulling this out of his ass, because how do you prove it? You know, it's over, you know, what was he, like a junior now?
I guess, but it's like, first of all, if he had such an issue with it, like, I mean, I understand you kind of keep stuff in because you kind of, like, want to, you know, not make big deal of things, but, like, who the fuck says that in a non-joking way about mopping the floor? Like, you'd probably, like...
Dude, I'd be happy, like, yeah, bitch, hey, I'm a little soy boy, you know, don't make me mop the fucking floor. And I wouldn't say that, but, like, I wouldn't want to mop the fucking floor either way.
He also says, anyway, I was told several times during freshman year I couldn't possibly mop the floor as I was too small and feminine. Too small. How can you be too small to mop the floor? And I love how he says he was told several times, along with countless other remarks, do what you want with this information. Ooh.
So that's something that you can't prove because it's, you know, at least a year old, if not more. And we don't have anyone tied down to this. And it's like, okay.
He has almost 600 followers. How? What is this guy? What is he?
Because he got the article. He's probably like in the fucking Democrat like club.
Well, he's followed by somebody I know that's a college dem, Tom Sarabach.
Oh, Jesus.
What else is he doing? He's a geology major, probably, you know, some dumbass over here thinking that he's hot shit, just bitching about his boss. You know, there's real people in this world who are like first responders and, you know, in like nursing homes and stuff, and then you have this dude thinking he deserves hazard pay for work at the dining commons, which don't eat, like it's already wearing masks, you know, like what do you expect?
I don't want to pick up a broom because it fuck up my nails.
Actually, it's probably the real reason he didn't mop the floor.
You know what they should make him mop the floor now. Be like, oh, so you don't like, you think you can mop the floor? Okay, you're doing this for a week.
Yes, this is your primary job. Mopping.
That's how from now on till he quits. Yeah, like, oh, well.
Hey, you wanted to mop the floor? Here you go.
Here's a big mop and a big floor.
What hill is that to die? And like, I wanted to mop the floor. Like, Jesus, dude, join the Coast Guard. I don't know.
I love his tweets too. Like, look at this shit. He's like, he keeps going off like on his this weight he's riding. He says, if you're gonna slide into my Penn State email, it doesn't capitalize Penn State, with a fake name to harass me because of the Onward State article, you better come correct. You better come correct. Me English good. Making fun of my first name is weak. Dude, when you're named after a fucking state in the middle
What was his name?
Nebraska. Yeah.
I think he's saying you better come correct, as in come.
You know,
All right.
He wants those dick pics, I guess.
Yeah, like he's better come correct. That's
I
Okay,
don't
that-
want to know what that looks like. But if that's what he wants, like, hey, I bet there are people out there that can provide that service.
Like, how,
it's sexually stimulating.
how do you come incorrectly? Do you like come out your ass? Do you like come out your like nose? What?
Yeah.
How's this happen? I've never heard of this. So like come out the like does he have another hole in his dick? Like something out of his like asshole?
It's milking the prostate.
Milking the prostate. God.
That's funny. Like people are probably giving him shit now because they realize how much of like he's
Dude.
doing like bitching about.
It's funny. It is funny. I'm looking at it and I'm like cracked up. Like this, I can't believe anybody would be dumb enough to
Well, like
put a series of tweets like this together.
Well, like this is like first world problems personified. Like, what the fuck is this guy think he's doing?
Dude, he thinks he's like a healthcare worker. Like he's like on the front lines, like battling COVID and like saving people's lives, and like with COVID patients, like at his like in his hands like every day. It's like, no, dude, you give food to fucking college kids who are all fucking fine, and like most of them aren't even in the dining halls. Like, you are so pish posh, bitchy. And who names their kid Nebraska? You know who names their kid Nebraska?
Some hippie.
Hipster, bougie, leftist.
I wonder where he's from. Is he from like New York City or something? Or like, I wonder, does it say in his bio?
I think it's is that Puerto Rico, that flag? Like, is he trying to be like?
No, he can't be from Puerto Rico. There's some guys from Puerto Rico. Like, no, they won't be this poshy. He's like from like the 1%, the 1%.
Well,
like,
is that the Cuban or Puerto Rican flag on his thing? Oh, it's Puerto Rico. Right? That's what I thought. Yeah, he has a Puerto Rican flag on his profile there because he's like wants a virtue signal. That. Well, this was.
They should send him to Puerto Rico, make him like mop the floors there, and see how he likes. See how much hazard pay he gets for that.
And he could work in the hospitals there on the front lines.
Volunteer. Oh, that sounds good.
I hear they have a great healthcare system down there.
Should be happy. I'm sure he's not a fan of the United States healthcare system. Let's see how he likes it.
Look, and this is where I could tell he was just a little bitch looking for attention. He retweets the Onward State article and he goes, "I love roasting Penn State. Anyways, that's me. Me. It's all about me.
It's just like, this is just so fucking first world, man. Like, this guy is so fucking privileged to go and like demand hazard pay and to do all this other stuff, like, and do it publicly, and he still apparently has his job. He's fucking privileged.
Do you want to hear this hot privileged take from him? He said on September 18th, "I wish I was taller so I could find pants that fit."
So this guy's a manlet too. Yeah, so that's probably like wife.
He's almost as tall as Ben Shapiro.
Oompa loompa doopity doo.
Well, to be fair, he probably gets very upset when all the girls like turn him down for dates because he's like a manlet. I actually do feel bad for those guys because that does kind of suck. But like,
nobody wants to touch him because they're afraid if they fuck him, they'll go to jail for fucking a child or something. Cuties all over again.
Well, he would be a great new cast member for the Recruities, the Cuties remake or sequel. That's what I was trying to find. I'm getting tired, so I'm slipping on words.
Well, no, but see, at least they like they do work. They twerk and stuff. This guy, he doesn't sound like he likes work very much.
He likes mopping floors. What are you talking about?
That's true. Like I'd love to go see this guy actually mop a floor. Like maybe he does it, like really shitty, and they're like, yeah, that's why we Don't make him call.
Wait.
A raise. He doesn't fucking mop the floors because he's probably shit at mopping the floors and doing anything that requires real work
So people
without getting hazard pay and like.
Wait, is he? I'm trying to figure something out here because you're making me think of something. So he said that people made fun of him. They say he couldn't mount the floor because he was too feminine and too small. And then he sends out a tweet saying, "I wish I was taller so I could find pants that fit." Like, is the signal he's trying to send is like, "Oh, I'm that the world is like heightist, you know." It's like against small, like people, like there's oppression against small people.
Owen Benjamin is literally a height supremacist, unironically. So he also came up with a brilliant new way to defeat Antifa, but we won't go there.
Bring it back to the Bears.
Yes.
It's
The Bears are in town.
It is, well, I might as well tell you his solution is, I kid you not, to whack off Antifa.
That sounds, yeah, that doesn't sound gay at all. Let's go jerk off Antifa. Let's see how that goes.
Obsessed with homosexuality again. Man, I'm telling you, these Owen and Nick are gay. I'm telling you, it's true.
What did you just say? Jerking off Antifa? I'm sorry. I'm afraid the Democrats have already beat you to it. Bam! There.
Oh.
That's a joke. That is a joke.
Yeah,
Suck it.
That's got the punchline and everything. It's got the setup. It's tailored perfectly, and it's also truthful. This Nebraska fucker also tweeted out, "Why does she have us designing this map in grayscale? She knows colorblind people exist, and this is ugly."
Well, because if you're colorblind, you shouldn't be doing that fucking shit to begin with. How about that?
Wait, so she's complaining it's in grayscale, but can't, like, anyone who can, even if you can't see color, you can see grayscale, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of confused on this.
Like,
Why
you can't
does
you can't. Is he bitching about his geography shit?
I think so, actually.
Like, you can't be how can you be how can you work in geography if you're fucking colorblind? Because most maps are color coordinated, are they not?
Well, and if it's in grayscale, doesn't that work for colorblind people? Because that's all they fucking see.
Well, yeah, if you put in colors and they can't see it, like, this guy just seems like he'd be a wonder to go and have to work with. He just bitch about everything. Like, oh, I couldn't go and, I'm pissed off. My boss, he didn't give me a fucking, 20% raise this year. Oh, I feel discriminated against. So, my boss wouldn't let me go and do the janitor's work. Oh, it's because I'm too feminine, isn't it? Like, he just seems like a lawsuit waiting to happen. Like, if I was, it's honestly, like, him putting this out there, if I was
going to hire him.
Yeah, like, who would want to? Because, like, you're just going to bitch and complain and, like, possibly start lawsuits. Like, geez, where are you going to work at? Like, maybe like George Soros would hire him, but, like, I don't even know about that. Because I think
you'd be the perfect Democrat politician. What are you talking about?
He also like, he tweets about a lot of political stuff. I see. I spend a lot of time thinking about how other people see me is not how I see myself in a reflection, because
they see you as a lazy piece of shit. Yeah.
Your reflection in the mirror, it's too high.
Because I'm a solid 8.5 in a reflection, then I see those photos.
Oh my god. Yeah, he's probably like he seems like an incel. He's probably an incel over here. Like, he reminds me of one of those people that go around to, like, small businesses and, like, shake them down because they're, like, not ADA compliant.
Phil, you'll love this guy. He doesn't like he has, like, a meme that's, like, mocking the fact that there was a spike in COVID cases in Penn State and that the Big Ten football is returning. So he's anti-Big Ten football returning. He says, want to reiterate that I have had 3 colonoscopies in my life.
So he's not anti-Big Ten. He's just anti-Big Ten football.
Oh, I think I found something funny.
Yes, that was a terrible dick joke.
He probably likes a colonoscopy. Like, oh, yeah, put that finger up That's-
I like the Big Ten, just not football.
Oh
Oh my
yeah.
God.
I didn't realize that's
Okay,
what you
yeah.
meant at first. I'm working a little
Yeah.
slow, but
Okay,
oh man.
now who's obsessed with gayness?
Yeah.
Mm.
You know it, Sassy.
I just love this tweet. I almost want to like it. I want to reiterate that I've had three colonoscopies. Dude, how are you in college and have had 3 of those? You don't get those till like you shouldn't have your first one till you're like fucking 55. And then he continues. He goes, and all of them were more tolerable than working at Pollock.
Really? So you think your job? Well, he probably likes it, honestly.
Yeah, he's probably he's
So your job is, for people that don't know what a colonoscopy is, he is saying is bad. He has less pain with a camera getting shoved up his ass. And okay, and what he's not mentioning here is that with a colonoscopy, they knock you out. You're out. You're unconscious. You're not feeling or seeing shit. So do you want to know why it's more tolerable than working at not just Pog, but anywhere? It's because you're not even fucking there when the colonoscopy's happening. You're out. You're gone.
This guy sounds like he's full of shit. Literally.
Yeah.
But then,
Colonoscopies.
what was that?
That's probably why he has 3 colonoscopies. So full of shit.
Yeah, he's probably full of something else up there that they had to check for.
Well, yeah, but no, like he does remind me of those people that
he's
shake
full of shit and a camera.
those fucking small businesses. Like I was reading some story on the internet. Like apparently there's an illegal immigrant who was doing that, and fucking Obama deported him.
Doing
Of all
what?
people, I was talking about that.
An illegal immigrant was like doing colonoscopies.
No. He was like going to ADA plate, like going to small businesses in California, and reporting, like getting a lawyer to go and like sue them because they're not ADA compliant by like like not even like big things, but like fucking tiny infractions. But because of California's ADA like laws, you know, you can like sue them and get like 10 grand in your pocket for it.
He said on September 15th, I want to thank everyone for their overwhelming amount of support in my decision to quit working at the dining commons. So he
Good.
rage quit.
He's probably gonna get fired. Like, what's he gonna do now? He's probably gonna go to like a fucking OnlyFans or something.
It's very important. Do they allow men on there? It's very important to note that I was able to do so because I have a paid internship.
Oh, God, I wouldn't. If I was somebody interning, I was like, I don't know, man. We can't go and make this guy do like fucking anything, or else he's gonna bitch online about us.
Penn State preys on students' unstable financial situations in order to do the bare minimum for their employees. Support dining commons employees, please.
No, they don't even sound like, honestly, like it's not a bad job. It's just, you know, it is what it is. You're working at a fucking dining hall.
Sitting on the hub lawn in hopes of getting eaten by a bear so I don't have to pay tuition anymore.
There's the link to the fucking Benjamin.
Yeah. Yeah,
He wants to.
Sam?
When he says he wants to get eaten by a bear, what he means is a homosexual with leather straps.
He
they
wants
want
to get
to
charged.
his ass so he doesn't need to go get another colonoscopy.
I got a bear for you, honey.
So then he would have wants Owen to
Exactly.
To charge him and boom.
Wants a free colonoscopy, basically.
Yeah, you can put on YouTube and on other sites too that you know, get a more adult audience, if you know what I mean.
Watch him be like interning at Cutco or something.
I could see it. He said it. Oh my god. Wow. Let's not forget about the multiple POC, people of color, who got fired for the littlest of reasons. Littlest? That's not a fucking word. It's smallest of reasons. After years of employment, but when the white kid did, they just got a few points on their record. LMAO. No, it's maybe because there were different things going on here. Okay.
Yeah, like honestly, when I was at the fucking creamery, I never saw like one person get fired.
Yeah.
You know, people quit, but like I never saw like they had to do something pretty bad to get fucking fired.
Yeah.
If you're reeking of weed and playing on your phone on the fucking job, I can't imagine people are gonna want to continue paying for that shit. You know?
Even that, like, even if you're reeking a weed, they won't give a shit. Because there's, you know, I've seen that happen a few times at the creamery. Like, you know, you'd have to do something really fucking bad to get fired from like Penn State, like dining. Like, unless they spit on the food or like shoved a fucking hot dog up their
Yeah. Hey,
That's
Dick, you got the fucking munchies and started eating all the mint chocolate chip. What the fuck?
Ooh.
Oh god, he's in the Latinx group me. Can you send me a link,
God.
dude? I want to join in on that conversation. I'm 1/369th Latinx. I'll take the elevator up one floor because I use the stairs in a nice outfit. I'm not trying to sweat in a fit. I take
Oh yeah, no wonder this guy. They don't think he's gonna be able to fucking do the fucking floor. He's sweating by walking up the fucking stairs. You know, like really, they're gonna be like, oh yeah, no, this guy doesn't want to sweat for that. You think he's gonna want to sweat like by mopping the floors, and then he takes it offensively, like, dude, shut the fuck up.
There's more. He says, I take the blue loop from Atherton to Allen Street before scuffing up my shoes.
Is this guy trolling or what?
Well, I think things like that are a joke, but it's like some of these things come from a certain place.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can tell this guy, you know, he doesn't want to get messy.
Anyway, fellas, we ought to bounce here.
Yeah,
It's a good
Yeah,
idea,
it's
Sam.
getting out.
Or else we'll scroll through this guy's timeline forever and just like get lost in this rabbit hole of like fucking leftism. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into this. What the frick am I watching? This real news quarantine here, episode 40, with this historic news about Ruth Bader Ginsburg passing and the upcoming fight that we're gonna see for the nomination process and for the presidency. I can't believe I forgot to stream some riot footage because there's some action happening tonight, but that's okay. We can always watch more of it another time. There will definitely be more. And thank you, Sam, for joining. Everybody can go subscribe to Sam. Links in the description. Go to his Twitter. Follow him. It's at Sam_NGC. I think I got it right.
Yeah. Yes, you got it.
I finally got it. And if you want to subscribe to us, please like, share, subscribe to this video and channel, and share with all your friends, because that's how we grow and that's how we spread our message to more people that are open-minded and interested. So without ado, thank you guys. Have a nice day, and don't bitch about your fucking job like a little soy boy.
Wash your hands and later, Gators.
take it easy.
That's my line. Wash your fucking hands,
your
people.
dick.
Wash your fucking hands. And the stream.